Chapter 730. Very soon, Xiangyi understood what the little system meant by existing in a different form. Lingyi raised his hand. His forearm, which was supposed to be ethereal like a soul, had turned into a piece of data made up of numbers. Xiangyi's expression changed slightly. Although you've already guessed it, I still want to tell you how powerful I am now. Lingyi behaved like a child, showing off his toy to those close to him. That's right. I've turned into a piece of data, or rather, a program. Every transmigration system's wish was to turn from a program into a physical body. However, Lingyi had done the exact opposite. He had turned from a physical body into a piece of data. Xiangyi did not comment on his choice. After all, she was not Lingyi. She did not know what he had experienced, what kind of environment he was in, or what kind of mood he was in. Why do you insist on existing in a human form? Lingyi's body kept changing. In this space he had absolute control. His arms were like those in sci-fi movies. They turned into the body of a furry animal, the outer shell of a cold mecha, and some kind of liquid that glowed with the luster of stars. The current me has the right of a god. I can exist in any network in the myriad of planes. Lingyi's lips curled into a frivolous smile. Even the main system can't kill me. Xiangyi gasped in amazement. He had actually thought of such a thing, and it had actually come true. You're very powerful. You're a genius, Xiangyi commented. Lingyi was not satisfied with her mere numbers. He tilted his head as if he was acting spoiled, and his eyes curved beautifully. Sister, if you want, I can help you. Thank you, but there's no need. Xiangyi was not moved by his offer. I feel that the way I am right now is very good. She had a family and a lover, and she was living a peaceful and stable life. Lingyi's smile disappeared, and he carefully sized up Xiangyi. The girl's expression was magnanimous, without any pretense. Lingyi mocked himself. His sister had a choice, but he had no choice. It's fine. Since you're not interested now, I won't mention it. When you change your mind, you can contact me at any time. However, Xiangyi thought of another question. That mission is related to the main system? Or did you just randomly post it? Lingyi winked mischievously. Does Big Sister think that I'll hand you over to another man? Are you the legendary oily being in the human world? Lingyi gritted his teeth and lowered his head dejectedly. Initially, he thought that it would be useful to study some romance novels. Who would have thought that it would backfire? He muttered. I didn't do it. It was indeed released by the main system. But it doesn't matter if I can finish it or not. The plane you're in now is equivalent to a single-player game. Because I've taken advantage of the loophole, the main system won't realize that we've gone offline. So that was the case. However, she still had a question. Is my world really a book? Well, that depends on what elder sister thinks. To Big Sister, this is your world, but to others, this is a book. There is no conflict between the two. Xiangyi was deep in thought. After a moment, she said calmly, You go surfing. I'm leaving. Bye-bye. She ended the dream and opened her eyes. At a glance, she saw the man in a black bathrobe looking at her with a faint smile. Chapter 731. The warm lights flowed like water, pouring down in torrents. Xiangyi's heart skipped a beat, but she forced herself to remain calm. Are you done showering? As soon as the words left her mouth, she regretted it. Why did it feel weird? Shui rested his elbows on the sofa cushion and took off his sunglasses. His peach blossom eyes were darker than the night outside the window as he stared unblinkingly at his little bunny. Xiangyi was a little embarrassed by his stare. She picked up Xiao Naofu and stood between the two of them, as if this was the only way to feel safe. Xiao Naofu's icy blue cat eyes widened. Meow meow meow? Is this Huhu a tool tiger? Shui raised his hand and scratched Xiao Naofu's chin twice. Xiao Naofu's heart refused, but the dogman's stroking was too comfortable. The kitten even began to snore. This was the peak of a tiger's life. Not long after, Xiao Naofu softened into a puddle of cat biscuit and lay in Shui's arms, calling out coquettishly, Meow meow, Xiangyi. Did you fall asleep just now? Shui was multitasking and naturally found a topic to talk about. Xiangyi nodded. Ahem, you forgot to fix your collar. Let me help you. Shui was wearing a black silk bathrobe. The style was loose, but his belt was loosely tied, which resulted in his collar was mostly open, revealing his fair skin from his collarbone to his chest. Xiangyi was like a worried mother fan. She raised her hand to fix Shui's collar, afraid that his skin would be exposed. Her slender wrist was clasped by the man's large hand, and a steady stream of heat was transmitted to her. Shui chuckled. How do you know if I forgot or did it on purpose? Huh. Xiangyi froze for a few seconds before gradually coming to her senses. Her face instantly burned. Did her boyfriend mean that he did it on purpose for her to see? Shui looked at the little girl's flushed cheeks and her head was almost smoking. She lowered her voice, as if she was bewitching a demon, but also as if she was purely discussing scientific knowledge. Do you want to know what abdominal muscles feel like? Boom! To little Bunny, this was simply beyond the limits of her shyness. She was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on as she shrunk to the other end of the sofa. No, I don't want to, she said in a tone that did not mean what she said. However, Shui still asked slowly, You really don't want to? Ugh. Xiao Naofu saw that the stupid woman's face was as red as a shrimp and was very puzzled. Weren't they just abs? What's the big deal? This hoo-hoo will touch it for you. Hence. She lifted Shui's bathrobe with her furry paws and pressed them on his well-defined abs. Meow. Xiao Naofu poked it curiously. Hey, it's completely different from the stupid woman's fragrant and soft body. Sister E, it's said that pets follow their owners. You cat are acting like a hooligan. Shui said with a lazy smile. Xiangyi waved her hands repeatedly. No. Xiao Naofu. Let go. In a moment of desperation, she blurted out. All of them. Shui's dark eyes narrowed. Xiao Naofu, however, became playful. First, it pretended to obediently move its paws away. Then, it curiously pressed below the abs. Meow? Why do my paws feel hot? Xiangyi grabbed the blanket next to her and covered her head. Shui's expression did not change. She picked up the kitten and slowly brought it in front of her. Do you want Big Brother to kiss you? Xiao Naofu frantically fluttered in the air. Meow 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 meow. Don't King come over. Chapter 732. Xiao Naofu resisted desperately, but the instigator Shui had a lazy and playful look. His eyes were dark, his lips were pale, and his jawline was smooth and clear. His perfect and noble face was getting closer and closer. Smack. It was imprinted on Xiao Naofu's forehead. Xiao Naofu let out a humiliated roar. Woof 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 woof. I'm dirty. I'm dirty. After kissing the kitten, Shui released its grip. Xiao Naofu seemed to have suffered a huge blow as it looked at Xiangyi aggrievedly and barked twice. Xiangyi wanted to hug it, but the kitten shook its ears, afraid that the dog would take revenge on it again. It scurried away with its chubby little legs. Little Shiji barked and chased after them anxiously. Not long after, the cat and dog disappeared without a trace. They had no idea where they had gone to hide. Xiangyi was puzzled. Did Xiao Naofu hate me? Little did she know that a certain hoo-hoo was really scared. All the gifts of fate had been secretly marked with a price. This is the price of being molested by a dog. Is it angry with me? Xiangyi began to reflect on her actions in the past few days. Every day she would cook delicious cat food for Xiao Naofu, provide it with some snacks, play with it for an hour, and coax it to sleep at night. She would also tell it stories, watch cartoons, listen to music, and so on. Was she not good enough? Children have grown up and have their own little temper. Shui said lazily, his hand wrapped around Xiao Naofu's slender waist. With a little force, he easily pulled her into his arms. Their posture changed to that of a tall man hugging the slender girl from behind. Xiangyi's ears began to burn again, but she didn't push him away. Raising children doesn't seem to be that easy. Not only did she have to pay attention to her diet, but she also had to pay attention to her mood. Don't raise them then, Shui said. Xiangyi turned around and asked, Don't you like children? I only like Xiangyi. Xiangyi bit her lips at the sudden words of love. Then she boldly put her arms around Shui's neck. Her soft voice trembled slightly, but it was firm and brave. I also like Shui. Was this a mutual confession? After Xiangyi finished speaking, she couldn't help but bury her face in Shui's collarbone. The soft flesh on the back of Shui's neck was completely red. Shui patted her back and comforted her gently. Xiangyi adjusted her emotions and soon, the girl returned to her usual calm and steady appearance. I'm a transmigrator with a gold medal as support. What does a few words of love count for? The little girl comforted herself in her heart. Then with a taut face she said in shock, You said it last night. Let's begin. In the courtyard of the private restaurant, Shui turned off the microphone and said a few words to her. That is, the two of them watched a movie together. The kind where they held hands the whole time. In order not to be disturbed, Xiangyi had an idea. Let's watch in my room? There was a projector installed in her bedroom. When it was turned on, it could project the entire wall. Shui, who originally wanted to tease the little rabbit, swallowed hard. That's not very appropriate. Yeah. Xiangyi hit her forehead and said in annoyance, What if I do something to you? Shui was confused. The temperature of the air continued to rise, and there was a faint ambiguity. The man's low laughter was slightly hoarse. When it entered her ears, it caused a slight itch and tugged at her heartstrings. Sister E, I'm bold, I'm not afraid. Chapter 733. Xiangyi didn't know if she was possessed, but by the time she woke up, she found herself lying on the bed in her bedroom. But beside her, there was another person. The projector was playing a classic horror movie. Unfortunately, the two of them were mentally strong, and the movie didn't achieve the desired effect at all. Xiangyi wrapped the small blanket tightly around herself. She felt uncomfortable. She slept with Xiao Naofu every day, but the feeling between a kitten and a man was really different. It felt like her territory had been occupied, and it was full of oppression. There was a distance between the two of them, but their hands were holding and their fingers were intertwined. Xiangyi gently scratched Shui's palm. That? Their eyes met and time seemed to have stopped. The lights were extinguished, and only the light from the curtains spilled down. Frame by frame the light moved like twinkling stars. Xiangyi licked the corner of her mouth, which was inexplicably dry. Should I meet your parents? In the girl's mind, dating was a matter between two people, but it should also be approved by both parties' families. Come to think of it, Shui had already met several of her brothers. Needless to say, he had also met her grandparents. However, she knew nothing about Shui's family. Shui was silent for a moment before whispering, My family had some changes. After that, my father chose to die. My mother was traumatized and is still recuperating abroad. Xiangyi was stunned. She had heard that there was a change in the Shui family, but she didn't know it was so cruel. I'm sorry. The girl couldn't bear it. Shui continued. As for the generation before me, I'm not very close to them. I rarely go out with them except during the new year. I've never mentioned it because I think it's not worth mentioning. Secondly, I'm worried that you'll dislike Sister E. After all, our family isn't as close as yours. The relationship between the Shui family members was very indifferent, and Shui had long been used to it. Xiangyi looked into his eyes. I won't dislike you, never. Shui was speechless. The young lady was always so sincere in front of him. He raised his hand to cover his eyes and said with some difficulty, Sister E, I'm not as good as you think. Cough. I secretly bullied Xiao Naofu. Is it right? You know? Xiangyi turned over and got closer to him. Her clear eyes were filled with gentleness. I've always known. Shui moved his hand away, a trace of astonishment on his face. His thick and long eyelashes fluttered twice. Doesn't Sister E hate it? How could this be? Xiangyi smiled. I like your gentle look. I like your pitiful look. And I also like your green tea look. You're so cute, so I really like it too. Shui's Adam's apple moved slightly. For a moment he didn't know what to say. I just like you the most. The young lady blushed and tried to burrow under the blanket like an ostrich. However, Shui held her tightly, not allowing her to retreat. His voice was hoarse. Say it again. No. His warm fingertip stroked her earlobe and gently rubbed it twice. As he wished, he saw that her little ears were completely red. Good girl, Sister E. His moist and hot breath enveloped her. Little by little, it attracted a dense electric current that exploded on her nerve endings. Coax me, Chapter 734. The movie was still going on, but no one was paying attention to the content. It had completely become background music. The distance between them was close, and the atmosphere was ambiguous. The girl's beautiful doe eyes were filled with tears. She couldn't remember how many times she had been forced to say, "I like you the most." The little rabbit was so shy that she was trembling slightly, and her fingertips and toes were curled up unconsciously. Shui caressed her cheek and kissed her again and again, gently and lovingly. The feeling of touching each other was wonderful and touching. Shui. The girl was so sleepy that her eyelids were drooping, and she called out to him in a soft voice, "You have me in the future." Oh. His heart felt as if it had been hit by something. It didn't hurt, but instead it felt as if it was wrapped in soft and warm cotton candy. It was filled with sweetness. It was as if all the regrets, darkness, and bigotry had been redeemed at this moment. The gray haze dissipated, and in his eyes and heart, there was only the gentle and soft girl in front of him. She had fallen asleep. Her fingers were still unconsciously grabbing the corner of his shirt. Perhaps because she had been bullied too hard. The girl's eyes were slightly red. Shui gently wiped her eyes with his fingers and replied softly, "Yes, I love you and only you." It was late at night on this side of the ocean, but the sun was rising on the other side of the ocean. A Chinese director, Mu Si, yawned as he raised his head from a pile of manuscripts. He looked particularly haggard after staying up all night. It's finally done. His new movie was in the midst of filming. It was a standard Western commercial blockbuster style, but it had integrated traditional Chinese elements. The collision of Eastern and Western cultures created a strong chemical reaction. Just a few leaked photos had been released, and the mainstream media had already concluded that this would be the best-selling movie of the year internationally. However, outsiders didn't understand Mu Si's pain. How to combine business and art was a difficulty that every director would encounter. The initial filming of the movie was very smooth, and it had been gradually getting better. However, he had encountered some difficulties recently. He had integrated kung fu elements into the movie, and wanted to design a traditional Chinese swordsman with a chic and classical feel. However, the martial arts director's several versions did not meet his requirements. With limited funds, Mu Si couldn't be stuck here forever. He was now faced with a choice. Should he make do or should he persist? Sigh. He looked at the messy storyboard and drank the coffee that was left in the cup. It was already cold, and the bitterness made him frown. Forget it, let's relax for a while. Mu Si took out her phone and refreshed her social media app. She scrolled down her list of followers and liked them from time to time. When he saw an official account of the Hua Nation, his fingertips suddenly paused. Martial arts. Stopping war is martial arts. Martial arts is the art of self-cultivation. Kung Fu? Mu Si's interest was piqued. She clicked on the video below. What came into view was a dojo. Mu Si's first reaction was, the decoration taste was terrible. The nondescript antique style was simply an aesthetic disaster. But soon, his attention was attracted by the young boy and girl in the video. The two of them each held a wooden sword. Not to mention anything else, just their appearance alone was pleasing to the eye. Yin controlling Mu Si was greatly satisfied. In the next second, the two of them started fighting. Mu Si's eyes went from relaxed to shocked, and then to surprised before he finished watching the video. He stood up and dialed his assistant's number. Book me a ticket to Hua Nation. Immediately. Chapter 735. At the same time, the internet was still bustling with activity late at night. Netizens were surfing the internet, commenting on national affairs, teasing celebrities about their scandals, complaining about their weird leaders, and sharing their beautiful daily lives. When the netizens saw a post posted by the official daily newspaper, everyone's reaction was similar to Mu Si's as they curiously paused their fingertips. Martial arts. Stopping war is martial arts. Martial arts is the art of self-cultivation. People who practice martial arts should have a strong physique, internal and external cultivation, and have both virtue and martial arts. Xiangyi V. Shu, who loves to practice swordsmanship. These two young people show the elegance of martial arts, promote traditional culture, and don't forget their original passion. Only then can they achieve great success in martial arts. Everyone clicked on the video of the battle between Xiangyi and Xu Xinglan. The video had been edited, and it was obvious that it was the work of a big shot. The camera switching, the color of the picture, the background music, and the rhythm of the storyboard were all top-notch. It was comparable to an official documentary. In this video, the swordsmanship of China was displayed in an artistic manner. At the end of the video, the wooden sword was broken and Xiangyi immediately withdrew her sword. The screen turned black and 2 lines of captions appeared: frowny face since coming out of the cave. There is no need to show mercy. Virtue is the most important. Courtesy is the most important. Harmony is the most precious. And sincerity is the most important. A sense of shock hit them in the face. Countless people were stunned for a while before coming to their senses. They couldn't help but watch the video for the second time. Oh my God, I feel like I've regained the hot-blooded feeling of reading wuxia novels when I was a child. Sister E is so polite. She didn't press the advantage and instead stopped when it's time to attack. This is the spirit of Chinese martial arts. This must be a fake fight, right? Can she really fight at such a level? Does China really have kung fu? This is unbelievable. After the passers-by were done lamenting, they suddenly realized, what the F***ck? Xiangyi is being praised by the official media again? How many times has it been? It was rare for other artists to be praised even once. None of them were like Sister E, whom the official media couldn't wait to praise every day. It was like an elder showing off to his relatives how outstanding his child was during the new year. Because of the content and the quality of the production, this video quickly went viral and became extremely popular. In the wee hours of the morning, a blogger brought back news that the video had gone viral overseas. Many netizens praised. Putting everything else aside, Xiangyi has really made China proud. Regarding this, the Spicy Tutu girls expressed their opinions. Just so it's normal basic operation. Our Sister E is just an ordinary girl. We don't know why she's so popular. The fans of several A-list female celebrities in the country felt a growing sense of crisis. In the beginning, when Xiangyi became popular, it was more like she was an internet celebrity. In fact, people in the industry didn't really recognize her status. But now, she had received the official recognition, which meant that she had a backer. The industry would also reevaluate her commercial value. It was said that several luxury brands and national brands had already started to contact Xiangyi's management team. Invitations for TV series and movie scripts had also arrived like snowflakes. The cake in the market was only so big. Originally, everyone had a piece of the cake and everything was peaceful. Now that Xiangyi had appeared, it wasn't a fight for the cake. He wanted to eat the whole cake. How could he tolerate this? Of course not. Hence, a wave of organized, disciplined, and premeditated attacks began. They avoided the topic of Xiangyi's personality and talent, and focused on one thing: frowny face Xiangyi doesn't have any representative works. Chapter 736. A few A-list female fans had joined forces to form the so-called anti-explosion team, which was not to be underestimated. Unlike the fake reviewers who only knew how to copy and paste, they were very flexible. Some pretended to be fans, some were sarcastic, and some used all kinds of methods to ridicule Shui. I've been a fan of Sister E for a long time. Our Sister Yi's masterpiece is the most popular live variety show in the country. Who can compare to her among the starlets in the same batch? As an artist, isn't the most important thing to have in your career? You can't even do your main job well, and you're doing all these fancy side jobs every day. TSK, you're just not doing your job properly. The phrase "although I smoke, drink, and perm my hair, I'm a good girl" is similar to "although I don't have any movies, TV dramas, or music, I'm a good artist." Everyone knows who I'm talking about. After taking turns to lead, the effect was indeed remarkable. On the internet, there was a discussion about what kind of artist is qualified to be an artist. The mainstream view was that as an artist, the most basic thing was to sing, dance, and act well. In addition, because artists were public figures, there were also requirements for morality and artistry. As the discussion went on, the crowd began to take stock of Shui. Her professional skills were top-notch, her attitude was professional and polite, and she had a series of representative works and was extremely popular. However, she never acted like a big shot, nor did she accept advertisements. As for requests for selfies and selfies from fans, he would do his best to satisfy them. Since her debut, she had kept herself clean and had not been involved in any scandals with other women. She actively participated in public welfare and never walked the red carpet. Every time she attended a charity banquet, she would donate the highest amount. The more the crowd looked at her, the more they felt that Shui was a textbook model artist. All kinds of flattering essays came one after another, leaving the anti-explosion team confused. What? Why are you praising Shui? Weren't we scolding Xiangyi? They finally understood how painful it was for a language teacher to see an off-topic essay. This child is unteachable. Day and night changed, and the sunlight cut through the mist and shone on the cozy manor. At 8 o'clock, Li Jinyu started the live stream as usual. He first filmed the scene in the courtyard. The courtyard was flourishing with flowers, separated by a fence into another area. Chickens, ducks, and geese swaggered around, chatting with each other from time to time. Li Jinyu muttered to himself. Usually at this time, Sister Yi should have finished practicing her swordsmanship and was cooking. Why was she nowhere to be seen today? There was also Father Shi. He had the habit of running in the morning. By right, he should be back by now. He switched to the camera in the living room and happened to catch Xiao Naofu and little Shiji sleeping together in the kitty villa. The kitten was sleeping on the creamy belly of the Shiba Inu, snoring. Little Shiji hugged it and hooked its tail around it. Immediately, a group of netizens in the live stream were jealous. Not only did I have to eat Sister Yi's dog food, I didn't expect Xiao Naofu and little Shiji to be so lovey-dovey. I'm so jealous. Even Xiao Naofu has little Shiji to sleep with. I'm already in my 20s and still single. Ah, the West Axe couple is real. Little Shiji is so domineering. He's hugging Xiao Naofu so tightly. At this moment, a girl under a microscope typed a row of exclamation marks. Damn! Am I seeing things? Look at the lower left corner. Shui came out of Sister Yi's room. Chapter 737. Everyone took a closer look. That tall, slender, and calm figure was none other than Shui. The live stream was in an uproar. Another day of crying over someone else's love. Rounding it off, she should have a child by now, right? I bet 50 cents on twins. Why don't we call them Shirmuxiang Shirmui? Boo-hoo. I'm not betting on the untimely CP. I'm betting on the TV series Sweet Biscuits. Li Jinyu, who was in the director's office, spat out a mouthful of coffee. What? What's going on? Have the two of them come to fruition? Or did Daddy Shi take advantage of the dark night to bully Sister Yi? Daddy Shi was such a dog. The possibility of the latter was very high. Li Jinyu was filled with grief and indignation. Sister Yi was so gentle and cute. How could he do that to her? Daddy Shi, be a human. At this moment, Xiang Feng yawned as he came out of the room and bumped into Shui. Good morning, Sui. Xiang Feng's hair was messy like a chicken's nest. He casually brushed it twice, feeling very good about himself. Shui nodded calmly. Good morning. Are you and Lan awake yet? You have to eat breakfast, don't starve the kids. Xiang Feng chatted for a while and suddenly realized that something was wrong. His eyes widened. Why did you come out of my little Xiangyi's room? Shui looked like she hadn't slept well. She leaned against the wall lazily and said in a hoarse voice, I had no choice, Sister Yi asked me to sleep in her room. Last night, after Xiangyi fell asleep, he was about to return to his room, but as soon as he moved, his little bunny woke up. Later on, Xiang Feng's body trembled. What did you say? My little bunny actually knows how to drive a dog? When the live stream viewers heard the conversation between the two, some conservative people expressed their inability to accept it. Girls should be more self-centered. Xiangyi is such a proactive woman, I can't stand it anyway. A group of people shouting that a woman is greedy for a man's body. Once the gender is changed, there will be tens of thousands of comments. Shui rubbed the space between her eyebrows and said, I'll go and see if Shiryu and the others are up yet. Don't even think about running. Xiang Feng's hair stood on end as he exploded from a bird's nest into a hedgehog. Where's my knife? Where's my saber? He didn't find the saber, but he did find Xu Xinglan's wooden sword. Xiang Feng wielded his sword like a matchstick, yelling that he wanted to beat up Shui. Creak. Another door was pulled open. Xiangyi rubbed her eyes and looked sleepily at the two people standing in the living room. Morning. Is there anything you want to eat? The little girl's voice was warm and soft. Probably because she was still a little sleepy, her tone didn't sound as calm as usual. Instead, it sounded a little like she was acting coquettishly. Xiang Feng was surprised. Why did you come out of Shi Sui's room? The audience in the live broadcast room was also dumbfounded. These two people actually didn't stay in the same room? Xiangyi? Huh. Only then did the girl react. She knocked on her hangover head, trying to recall last night's memories. Some images surfaced in her mind. After she woke up last night, she dragged Shi Sui to drink. She seemed to have drunk too much and insisted that Shi Sui sleep on her bed. She seemed to have even rolled around on the ground. In the end, Shi Sui had no choice but to sleep in her room. However, a certain black-bellied movie king tricked her into going to his room. Xiangyi. Social death was nothing more than that. Chapter 738. Everyone watched as the little girl's ears turned red, but she still clenched her fists and pretended to be calm. I went the wrong way. This was like an ancient well without any ripples, without any soul. The girl looked at Shi Sui and said, what a coincidence, you went the wrong way too. Shi Sui raised her eyebrows and chuckled. Whatever Sister E says. It was a vivid interpretation of what it meant to dote on one's wife. Xiang Feng's gaze moved back and forth between the two of them. His mood was first gratified, then melancholy. The cycle was endless. He was gratified that his little bunny didn't push the dog away, nor was she pushed away by the dog. He was melancholy because his good brother really couldn't do it. He was very conflicted. In consideration of everyone's different tastes, Xiangyi made a simple breakfast. Sandwiches, buns, crystal shrimp dumplings, oatmeal milk, black coffee, vegetables and eggs were also indispensable. Shi Yu and Xu Xinglan, one adult and one child, ate with great relish. Xiang Feng teased, Lan, aren't you going to carry your wife today? Xu Xinglan, who was stuffing a ham and cheese sandwich into his mouth, showed a hint of confusion in his beautiful eyes. Oh right. Where's my wife? The young man seemed to have woken up from a dream and stood up abruptly, clearly flustered. My wife is gone. Pfft. The audience watching the live stream burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha. Little brother is too slow. What's so important about your wife? Eat first. Shocking, a certain young man actually abandoned his wife. Is this the distortion of human nature, or the decay of morality? Stop teasing him, Xiangyi said. As soon as she said that, Xiang Feng didn't dare to be mischievous anymore. He obediently found the wooden sword hidden behind the sofa pillow and returned it to Xu Xinglan. What a joke, he wasn't afraid of Xiangyi. What he was afraid of was the people who supported Xiangyi. Kak, for example. Shi Sui and Xiang Chishu Xinglan hugged his little wife tightly as if he had found a treasure. A few seconds later he silently let go. He said in all seriousness, my wife is affecting the speed at which I eat. After saying that, he picked up the half-eaten sandwich and took a bite. Viewers in the livestream room? Brother, do you know that your actions are called #I'm slapping my own face #? Buzz buzz. Xiangyi's phone vibrated. It was a call from her bodyguard. Miss, there's a guest. Xiangyi was a little confused. Guests? But today isn't the day for the guests. Li Jinyu also installed a fixed camera at the gate. He switched the camera position and found a tall man standing at the gate. He looked like a mixed-race man. He was worried that the bodyguard couldn't understand English, so he was gesticulating with his hands. The bodyguard was expressionless and spoke to him in fluent English. The man. Even the bodyguard's English was so good. The owner of this manor was probably hiding something. He explained the purpose of his visit. I want to invite 2 people to participate in the filming of my movie. Oh, he's a director? Before anyone could recognize him, Shi Sui said, it's Director Mu Si. Hearing this name, there was a lot of gasps from both the audience and the live stream. Mu Si, the talented Chinese director who was renowned both at home and abroad. The director whose movies had accumulated more than 10 billion box office sales. In an instant, everyone's eyes were fixed on Shi Sui. Presumably, for such an internationally renowned director to pay a visit, it must be to look for Shuringdi. Shi Sui smiled and said, I don't think he's here for me. Chapter 739. What? If he's not here for Sure Sui, doesn't that mean? Countless spectators' gazes fell on the girl beside him at the same time. Is he here for Sister E? How is that possible? Mu Si is an international director, and he has never worked with an Asian actress before. This is his first time working with an Asian actress. She has to be an award-winning actress, right? He said that he's here for Xiangyi. Is he trying to make me laugh to death so that he can inherit my ranking in the game? I know it's impossible. A real director doesn't care about popularity, but acting skills. Does Xiangyi have that? The Xianxia drama in which Xiangyi and Sure Sui acted as guest stars for director Zheng had yet to be broadcasted. Hence, the audience's impression of Xiangyi's acting skills was still limited to that of the idol drama she starred in the past year. She glared at them in anger. She glared at them in shock. She glared at them in sadness. Even when the male lead confessed to her, she glared at him too. At that time, Xiangyi was so popular that she was out of the entertainment industry. There were pictures of her acting skills all over the internet. Hence, everyone naturally thought that director Mu Si would rather find Xiao Naofu and little Shiji to act in his drama than Xiangyi. Out of courtesy, Sure Sui and Xiangyi went to the door to welcome director Mu Si. The production team confirmed with him that he had agreed to film before following the live stream. As soon as he saw Xiangyi, director Mu Si's eyes lit up. It's her. It's her. She was petite and slender, with delicate facial features and a gentle aura. However, she was extremely strong and could defeat a burly man with one punch. What he wanted was precisely this feeling of contrast. Hello, my name is Mu Si. Director Mu Si greeted them with a smile, his accent sounding a little awkward. Sure Sui stepped forward and greeted him. Mu Si said, "You're a very outstanding actor. I've watched all your movies." That was enough to show that he approved of Sure Sui. Thank you, I like the movies you starred in too. The two of them complimented each other and Mu Si couldn't help but rub his hands together. Can you introduce this lady to me? He was so nervous that he blurted out in English. Of course. Sure Sui nodded and naturally switched to English to introduce him and Xiangyi to each other. Xiangyi also communicated with director Mu Si in English. Hearing Xiangyi's fluent English, Mu Si couldn't wait to sign the contract with her on the spot. That's great. Amazing. This must be the blessing of the goddess of luck for him to meet Xiangyi. His role in the movie was practically tailor-made for her. Mu Si said sincerely, "Ms. Xiang, please forgive me for my abruptness and presumptuousness, but I really think that you're very suitable for one of my movie roles. I would like to invite you with the greatest sincerity to participate in the filming of my movie." The live stream was in an uproar. Mu Si actually really came to look for Xiangyi to film a movie. A few of the A-list female fans rushed over when they heard the news. When they saw the translated content in the bullet screen, they almost vomited blood. Now, what did Xiangyi do to deserve this? What right did she have to act in an international blockbuster? Also, is there something wrong with director Mu Si's taste in aesthetics? Can't he just look for his sister? Why does he have to look for Xiangyi? Is she good at acting? Can she act in movies? Can she act better than others? All of a sudden, there were doubts everywhere. I'm now suspecting that this director Mu Si is a fake. I think so too, it might be some new type of scam. Is Xiangyi worthy of such a good deal? She's not. Isn't she afraid of choking to death? Chapter 740. Regarding this, Spicy Tutu fans' response could be described as a template. Okay, she's a liar. Yes, whatever you say is right. Wow. You guys even found out about this. You're all great detective Yoon. Okay, fine. Our sister E isn't worthy, but your idol is. She's going to be famous all over the country and abroad. She's going to win so many Oscars. The audience in the comments section burst into laughter. What kind of silly fans are Spicy Tutu fans? They can't even get into a catfight. They're just trying to fool the winner. You guys must be the successors of the modern school of fooling. The anti-explosion team was speechless. It felt as if they had punched cotton and couldn't exert any strength at all. You think that you've hurt the other party and they'll be so upset that they'll burst into tears. You didn't expect them to actually be enjoying themselves and not take you seriously at all. Isn't that infuriating? However, they had no idea how to vent their anger. Spicy Tutu didn't scold them or step on them. Instead, she was rather Buddhist, just a little perfunctory. In this situation, if they were to get into a fight, the passers-by would instead side with Spicy Tutu. Therefore, the explosion-proof team could only grit their teeth and swallow their grievances. They felt so wronged. In the living room of the manor, Xiangyi brought Musi a cup of coffee. Musi took a sip and cast a look of admiration at Xiangyi. Double espresso. It was his favorite ratio. The coffee beans were fragrant and the temperature was just right. Taking a sip was both refreshing and enjoyable. He once again mentioned that he wanted Xiangyi and Xu Xinglan to act in his new movie. He also explained his understanding of Eastern culture and swordsmanship. Xu Xinglan hugged his wife and stood at the side, slowly digesting the words of director Musi's speech. Film a movie? To him, this was something that he had never thought of before. The young man's expression was blank as he tightened his grip on his sword. Xiangyi's reaction was also very calm as she sipped on the peach oolong that she had brewed. Musi was confused. The famous director, who had always rejected others and had never been rejected before, fell into a state of confusion. Was it no longer attractive to make his movies? Why were the two of them so indifferent? The audience. Is there a problem with my English listening? Is Director Mu inviting Xiangyi and Xu Xinglan to make a movie? Yes, but it's not quite appropriate to use the word invite. It should be more appropriate to use beg. The lively comment section fell into a mysterious silence. Let them sort it out. It wasn't like Xiangyi and Xu Xinglan were crying and begging to act in Director Mu's movie. It was Director Mu who had begged them to shoot. Most importantly, the two of them were not overwhelmed by the favor, nor were they overjoyed. How many celebrities in the entertainment industry would be envious of this? Xu Xinglan pursed her lips, unable to make up her mind. She looked at Xiangyi for help. Elder sister, I'll listen to you. Yesterday when they were sparring he was still calling her Miss Xiang, but after dinner, he changed to calling her big sister. Xiangyi wasn't against acting in a movie. Director Mu, don't we need to audition? Director Mu was stunned for more than 10 seconds before he roared. What the hell? What audition? I don't need it. Are you satisfied with the pay? If you're not, I can increase it. Miss Xiang, Mr. Xu, feel free to make any requests. It's already an honor for the two of you to appear in front of my camera. The audience was dumbfounded. Musi, wake up, you're an internationally renowned director. Don't you have any pride? Why are you acting like a simp? Chapter 741. However, no matter what others thought, Musi's thoughts were extremely firm. His pursuit of art, capture of the market, and fusion of hot elements had resulted in his high-quality films and box office hits. Xiangyi and Xu Xinglan were like connecting points. As long as they were connected, they would form a perfect closed loop. You're being too polite, Xiangyi said politely. Musi hurriedly asked, You guys agree? Xiangyi nodded and said, I look forward to working with you. Xu Xinglan chimed in. Me too, Xiangyi said. I hope my performance won't disappoint you. Xu Xinglan said. Me too, Xiangyi said. If there are any problems during the filming process, just tell me. I don't have a glass heart. Xu Xinglan said. Me too, Musi said excitedly. I'll get someone to draw up the contract right away. In the comments section of the live stream, I'm going to die of laughter sooner or later. His brother is like me, who has a poor vocabulary. He can't say anything other than me too. F***CK. Doesn't that make Xiangyi the first Asian actress director Mu has ever worked with? Xiangyi can brag about it for the rest of her life. The viewers watching the live stream were not the only ones who were amazed. In the blink of an eye, people in the industry also learned that Musi was going to work with Xiangyi. It was the nature of capitalists to pursue profits. Immediately, the number of endorsements and scripts that came knocking increased several times. The luxury brands that were previously on the sidelines even took the initiative to lower their status and put on the most sincere attitude to seek cooperation. Musi was extremely efficient, and he soon got someone to draw up the contract. Si Chuanbai and Annan rushed over, followed by the elite lawyers from Linshan law firm who specialized in contract law and overseas law. After carefully checking every clause of the contract, the lawyer proposed a few amendments, and Musi arranged for someone to work with him to amend the contract on the spot. It could be said that he had given the greatest sincerity. It was the most preferential contract. Even Xu Xinglan was basking in the limelight. The young man signed the contract in a daze, and only then did he look at the remuneration. Hey, why are there so many zeros? He rubbed his eyes and repeated it several times before he believed that he was seeing things. The young man pretended to be calm, but he couldn't help but exclaim, I can buy many, many wives. The netizens were amused by him and started to make jokes. Human trafficking warning. Objectifying women warning. Warning for polygamy and bigamy. Unexpectedly, the joke went on and on. Unexpectedly attracted the attention of the internet police. A line of bold red words appeared on everyone's screens. Received a report from the public that there are human traffickers involved in human trafficking in this stream? The staff noticed this and hurriedly told Li Jianyu. Li Jianyu was easily frightened. He shuddered and quickly entered the camera to explain. Misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. The child's Chinibu syndrome is acting up. When Xu Xinglan said wife, he wasn't referring to a human in the real world, but his sword. Xu Xinglan was so embarrassed that her face turned red. She bowed to the camera and apologized to the audience. Even so, the cyber police conducted a detailed investigation to ensure that no one was suspected of committing a crime before retreating. The audience, who had been as quiet as chickens just now, were now jumping up and down with joy. I'm dying of laughter, baby. Debut on the spot. Brother, you're breaking the law. I declare you a heart-stealing criminal. Am I the only one who thinks that Shi Sui is a has-been? She can't even get a minor role? Chapter 742. First there was Spicy Tutu and now there was Shi Sui sisters making fun of themselves. The screen was filled with comments. Hashtag Shi Sui no good hashtag. Hashtag Shi Sui not popular hashtag. Hashtag Shi Sui has been hashtag. Everyone was speechless. What kind of fans are these? Why don't you guys play by the rules? How could they make fun of their own artists like this? How much hatred and resentment do you have? Of course, the Shi Sui sisters all agreed that they were the only ones who could make fun of them. At most, they could just barely add Spicy Tutu to the list. I don't approve of him. Epsilon humph. In fact, they didn't have to worry about Shi Sui's career at all. Shi Sui had already won the Best Actor award, and had also won the Best Actor award. He had many representative works in movies and television series, and had a lot of outstanding roles. Even though he had retired from the film industry, he didn't have any regrets. He was dedicated and disciplined enough. Now that he was finally willing to take a break, his fans were happier than anyone else. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. After signing the contract, Director Musi couldn't wait to talk about the script, but his phone kept ringing. What? Really? Jesus. After answering a few calls, he looked like he had nothing to live for. Xiangyi poured him a glass of water and asked, Director Mu, are you okay? Musi wanted to cry but no tears came out. My male lead has run away. Huh? Xiangyi was confused. Did he not have time to sign the contract? No, he signed it, but he would rather pay the liquidated damages. His father has retired and he has to go back to inherit the family business and become the king. Xiangyi was confused. Shi Sui usually had the habit of watching domestic and foreign movies, so he knew a lot about foreign artists. He explained to Xiangyi, George Alexander, because of his passion, has devoted himself to acting for many years. His father is the king of a small country, and he is the first in line to inherit the throne. Xiangyi said in realization, Oh, I see. In the live stream. How? How can this work? If he doesn't work hard, he can only go home and be the king. This is probably because his family owns a mine. Oh no, he has a family in the mine. Musi was worried to death. Although there weren't many scenes for the male lead yet, George was already the most compatible person with the character and temperament he could find. Where could she find a new male lead? Was the filming of the movie going to be put on hold for the time being? Musi sighed and scratched her hair. Her receding hairline looked even more precarious. It was a sight to behold. What should we do now? Musi lamented. Her eyes accidentally fell on Shi Sui. The man held a cat teaser and calmly played with Xiao Naofu. He was wearing a simple white cotton shirt, casual and languid. His hair had grown a little longer recently, and he hadn't had the time to cut it, so it slightly covered his eyebrows. He was a 27-year-old man, but he had an inexplicable sense of being a young man. It was clean and fresh. Mu Si's eyes lit up. He had watched all of Sui's movies. Not only was she good-looking, but her acting was also impeccable. Mu Si had not considered Sui because of the restrictions of the foreign country. But today by chance he came to South City. Wasn't this fate predestined by fate? Mu Si's eyes revealed the fanaticism of an artist. Mr. Sure. I wonder if you're interested in being the male lead in my movie? Sui. This, Mu Si interrupted her. To put it simply, he was getting carried away. I believe that will make the best movie ever. Our names will go down in history. The audience was in a daze. Was Sui talking about the male lead? Chapter 743. Although Sui's resources were already very good, and it wasn't as if he had never worked with an international director before, but even if he had a family in the mine, would he care about the size of the mine? No. Sui's sisters in particular were all extremely excited when they heard this. Sui had already won the Best Actor award in the country. If he could win the Best Actor award internationally, Sui, let's go. I'm sorry, Sui, I shouldn't have criticized you. You're the best. Our journey is the sea of stars. We're aiming for an Oscar. There were a few comments that said, is it that easy to win an Oscar? But most people had high hopes for Sui. In the face of absolute power, everything else was insignificant. However, Sui had his own considerations. Just as he was about to politely decline, he said, "Thank you for your kindness, but Mu Si said, "Are you worried about the emotional scenes? Apart from a few intimate scenes within, played by Xiang Yi, the male lead doesn't interact with any other female characters. If you don't mind, I can edit it." Sui said with a straight face, "I think I can act in it." Everyone was dumbfounded. Sui, your answer is so coquettish. Mu Si looked back and forth between him and Xiang Yi. She suddenly chuckled and said, "Shall I add more intimate scenes for you too?" Little Uncle Xiang Feng coughed and said with the dignity of an elder, "There's no need for that. Everyone wants to see the plot. Who wants to see the two of them hugging and kissing on the big screen? It's like children playing house." Mu Si said seriously, "This is not child's play. It's for the sake of art." The viewers of the livestream were appalled. Ha, well done. Mr. Xiang. We can watch their intimate scenes even if they shoot for 10 hours. I feel that Director Mu is naturally sly on the inside. She has accurately grasped Sui's weakness. After some discussion, one more person signed the contract. The official filming date was set to be 2 weeks later, which was the end of the live stream of Two Under One Roof. The details of the contract could not be exposed, but the filming date was not concealed. The audience suddenly realized that a small puzzle was about to be completed. Was the live broadcast variety show that had accompanied everyone for the entire summer going to end just like that? Sadness shrouded the comments section. I don't want this to end at all. How did time pass so quickly? I can't bear to part with Sui and Sister E. There will be a second season, right? Please return to the original team. Sob, please. Fortunately, the production team had already made preparations. Li Jinyu put away his usual joking style and said seriously, "Every time we meet, there will be times of separation. Every time we separate, it's also for the sake of a better next time. I hope that everyone won't be immersed in the emotions of, the show is about to end. Instead, enjoy Two Under One Roof and the happiness that Sister E and Sui bring to everyone. Feel and cherish the meaning of life. This is also the original intention of our variety show." Many people in front of their screens felt a lump in their throat when they heard this. It was as if they were chasing a book or a drama series, looking forward to the end, but when the day came they would feel lost. However, that emotion did not last long. Everyone heard the conversation between Mu Si and Xiang Yi. "Then I'll go back and film the other scenes first. Since you're already here, why don't you stay for a meal, Director Mu?" Chapter 744. If one had to choose the words with the most magical power in the world, it would definitely be since you're already here. These words could make people eat more, walk more, climb more, and shop more. It could literally cover all their basic necessities. Especially when they were hiking, even though they didn't have the strength to continue, when they heard the words since you're already here, at least half of them would follow along. Director Musi declined. No, I'm quite busy. Besides, I grew up abroad and I'm not used to Chinese food. He was being very reserved. In fact, it wasn't that he wasn't used to Chinese food, but that he hated it. Musi's mother was a Cathayan, and she had excellent, dark cuisine skills. Musi often joked that it was a miracle that he was still alive. The domineering CEO Xiangfeng waved his hand. That's easy, I'll get you a chef. Musi hesitated for a moment before agreeing. However, he couldn't help but ask, Zheng, what do you mean? Soon, the chef from the 5-star hotel that Xiangfeng had hired arrived at the manor. He even brought along a bunch of assistants. It was rare for Xiangyi to have some free time, so she made a simple soup and marinated some meat slices. Then she took Director Mu around for a walk. Even though Musi had been to many aristocratic parks and was lucky enough to be invited by the Queen of Country E as a guest, he boasted that he had seen the world. However, when he saw the cozy courtyard that Xiangyi took care of, and the farm that was a combination of garden style and technology style, he couldn't stop praising it. Oh, this glass greenhouse is amazing. The light and shadow are perfect for making a literary film. Oh my God. These little animals are so cute. What? They're not pets but food? They're so cute they must be delicious. This pond is very artistic. Oh my God, I'm suddenly inspired. Miss Yang, can I take photos here? Xiangyi said gently. Sure, feel free to do as you please. Musi was overjoyed. He carefully selected the best angles and took several photos. After walking around, it was almost time for dinner. Everyone returned to the living room. The 5-star chef was extremely efficient and had already prepared the cold dishes and appetizers. When Xiangyi and the others returned, the dishes were served. What was worth mentioning was that someone had specially set up the dining table. The white tablecloth was matched with exquisite sound quality tableware. There were a few freesia in the vase, which was decorated with sparkling water droplets. The chef invited by Xiangfeng was a master of French cuisine. Every dish he made was like a work of art. However, Xiangfeng wasn't happy eating at all. This amount was too little. The eater had lost his soul. Even though Xu Xinglan and Sure Yu had deliberately changed a few dishes in consideration of the children's tastes, the two little ones still ate very little. The reason was very simple. He was not used to it. They still wanted to eat Xiangyi's cooking more. Fortunately, Xiangyi had already considered this point. She took out a small copper pot and placed it into Little Rabbit Farm's newest product, hot pot base. There was beef oil on one side and tomato soup on the other. The ingredients were ready-made. Someone in the kitchen had already prepared them and sent them over. Although the head chef did not say anything, Musi felt that it was somewhat inappropriate. Well, if I eat this, wouldn't it be a little disrespectful to the chef's hard work? After all, French cuisine had strict dining etiquette. Even the order of each dish was particular. These words attracted the approval of many people in the live stream. Yeah, isn't that too rude? Chapter 745. I'm dying of laughter. What kind of country bumpkin is Xiangyi? Come on. How can you eat Western food with hot pot? Don't you know how to eat? The hot pot must be very strong. Will it affect the taste of French food? Xiangyi is being too irresponsible. Xiangfeng led the two kids to the floor-to-ceiling window furthest away from the dining table and added charcoal to the small copper pot. Coincidentally, the head chef personally came out to deliver the main dish, which was a fried steak. His assistants helped him serve the dishes in turn. However, the head chef did not go back immediately. Instead, he chatted with Xiangyi. Xiaoyi, long time no see. I've tried the fusion dishes you told me about last time and I've really come up with a few new dishes. The customers are very satisfied. Xiangyi smiled and said, That's great. Oh, so Xiangyi and this head chef knew each other? There's one more thing. When we're done eating, can you? The head chef said embarrassedly. Sell me 2 packets of spicy rabbit heads produced by Little Rabbit Farm? My daughter loves to eat it, but she can't get her hands on it. The live stream viewers, Are you serious? Look at the logo on his clothes. He's the head chef of a 5-star hotel in Nanchung. Little Rabbit Farm is really popular. Sob, sob, sob. When will they dare to open a limited time limit? I'm begging Sister E to increase production. Don't you want to be a rich woman in the snack world? I've prepared it for you. Xiangyi got up and took out a basket from the side. In addition to spicy rabbit heads, spiced beef, noodles, and a few packets of hot pot seasoning. The head chef was overjoyed and thanked her profusely. At this moment, the small copper pot was also boiling. Xiangfeng was the first to pick up his chopsticks and began to rinse the cured meat that Xiangyi had prepared earlier. The beef and mutton were cut into slightly thick slices and marinated with starch, chili powder, egg, and other ingredients. They were then placed into the spicy pot and boiled. That smell faintly floated to the tip of Mu Si's nose, as if it was seducing his soul, causing his heart to itch. The head chef smelled the aroma and gave Xiangyi a thumbs up. Xiaoyi, your cooking skills are amazing. In terms of seasoning, you're really a genius among geniuses. He had specially researched Little Rabbit Farm's products and wanted to make them for his daughter. But no matter what, the seasoning was still lacking. You flatter me. If I'm not a chef, I'm afraid I'll have to be thick-skinned and follow them to eat hot pot. The head chef sighed and walked back to the kitchen. Mu Si didn't really understand their conversation, but she could feel that the head chef was praising Xiangyi. Could it be that her hot pot tasted pretty good? As for Xiangfeng, he was already panting and sweating. He took out his phone and habitually clicked into the live broadcast room. Seeing that someone was complaining, Xiangfeng was immediately amused. He put down his chopsticks and started a battle on the spot. Eating in a restaurant requires etiquette. But who made the rule that we have to follow that rule when eating at home? We can eat whatever we want. It's none of your business. Not only did he attack physically with words, but he also began to use his actions to attack with magic. Xiangfeng picked up a piece of cured meat and used his hand to block it from behind so that the camera could focus on it. Do you see? This meat is soft, smooth, and delicious. It's tender and bouncy. When you eat it, it's numb, spicy, and fragrant. He stuffed it into his mouth and smiled mischievously. Do you want to eat it? You can't eat it, ha ha ha. The audience was speechless. Thank you for being heard. Chapter 746. On the other side, at the dining table, Mu Si was relieved when he saw the head chef's reaction. Since he didn't mind, why should he mind? He tasted the fried steak and found that it tasted very good. It was not inferior to the Michelin restaurants he had eaten overseas. However, he felt that something was missing. You Lanlan, eat less. It's not good for children to eat too much. Although Xiangfeng spoke in a dignified manner, his hands did not stop moving. He scooped 3/4 of the meat into his bowl. Sure you, Xu Xinglan. Xiangfeng boasted shamelessly and had no psychological burden when it came to tricking children. Have you heard of Kong Rong giving away pears? That's our traditional virtue. Come, I'll give the two of you a chance. Yu Lanlan, give up the hot pot. Xu Xinglan was thin-skinned and didn't know what to say. He obediently hummed and didn't even dare to take more food. However, Sure Yu had inherited the Sure family's black-bellied nature. The little boy raised his hand and shouted in a childish voice, Sister Xiangyi. Xiangyi cast a glance at him. What's wrong? Xiangfeng. He quickly covered Sure Yu's mouth and laughed dryly. Nothing, nothing. He's thirsty. I'll pour him a glass of juice. It's not good for children to drink juice. There's too much free sugar. Let's give him milk. Okay. After settling Xiangyi, Xiangfeng heaved a long sigh of relief. He lowered his voice and gritted his teeth. Why are you still complaining? Sure you. Grandpa, give me some food. Xiangfeng. He couldn't believe his ears. What did you say? Sister Xiangyi. Xiangfeng immediately changed his words. I'll give you some food. F***ck. The dogs of the Sure family were indeed engraved in their genes. Xiangfeng and the other two ate until their stomachs were round. They collapsed on the sofa and watched cartoons together. The three of them were of different ages, but all of them were watching with relish. It could be considered as a confirmation of the saying that men were still young until they died. The French meal was long. Towards the end of the meal, Mu Si was already a little distracted. He couldn't explain why he wasn't interested in the table full of delicacies at all. Instead, he felt that the leftover hot pot next door was very fragrant when the last dessert was served. An exquisite three-tiered cake, the size of a palm, decorated with cream, strawberries, and blueberries. Whether it was the color or the shape, it was perfect. Xiangyi liked this cake, but she only wanted to eat strawberries, not blueberries. But if she didn't eat it, it would be a waste. While the young lady was worrying, she saw Shui casually chatting with Musi while switching their strawberries and blueberries. Hence, Xiangyi's cake turned into a cake with only strawberries and no blueberries. The little girl's eyes curved into the shape of a crescent moon as she happily gobbled down the food. There was a smile in Shui's eyes. To Musi, the cake was delicious, but compared to the hot pot, it was simply bland and tasteless. He clenched his cutlery and finally couldn't hold it in any longer. He stood up with a whoosh. "Miss Xiang, please let me try your hot pot." Xiangyi was startled by him. "Huh, what flavor do you like? I'll change the pot for you." "No need. I'll just eat that pot." Musi pointed to the small copper pot left behind by Xiangfeng and the other two. "I'm too curious about what it tastes like." One bite, one bite. 2 minutes later, the pot boiled and Musi took the first bite. 20 minutes later, Musi was gritting his teeth from the spiciness, but he still shouted, "Give me another plate of meat." Chapter 747. Director Musi, who had prepared 6 plates of meat, finally left with a hand on her waist. Before leaving, she couldn't bear to part with Xiangyi. She also changed the way she addressed Xiangyi from Madame Xiang to Xiangyi, which she didn't sound very fluent with. "Sister Yi, your family is so nice. I love it here so much. Oh, I love China so much. I love Chinese food so much. Although my body is abroad, my heart will always belong to China." Xiangyi was very polite. Not only did she give a lot of gifts, she also chuckled and said, "You're welcome to visit us whenever you're on vacation." Musi's eyes widened when she saw the hot pot base. She was even more excited than when her last movie grossed over 2 billion yuan at the box office. "Is this the magic seasoning? Sister Yi, you're really a super nice person." In the live stream, the audience had long become accustomed to Musi's reaction. "Director Mu, I'm wearing a Western dress, but my heart is still Chinese, doghead." Sure enough, as long as you take a bite of Sister Yi's food, you can't escape the law of taste. "When will the hot pot base be served? I'm going to ask all my friends and family to help me snatch it." After bidding farewell to Director Mu, Xiangyi and Xu Xinglan had another round of sword fighting before the young man left in satisfaction. As soon as he left, Xiangyi received a notification from Li Jianyu. "The guest has arrived early." "Huh. Unfortunately, the car broke down on the road." Shui asked, "Shall we go and pick her up?" Xiangyi said, "Sure, I'll drive." In the live stream, "I'm waiting for an idiot to appear. Can a female driver do it? Don't get into an accident." "Are you crazy? Do you have to use the word female? Go check the ratio of men to women in traffic accidents." The comments section was filled with a foul atmosphere, but when the camera cut to the garage, the atmosphere instantly changed. There were sports cars, off-road vehicles, and motorcycles, many of which were limited edition models. It was a paradise for car lovers. Li Jinyu was surprised and asked what the audience was thinking. "Sister Yi, are these your cars?" "It's my brother's car." Xiangyi didn't understand why everyone liked to leave their cars with her. She didn't know that it was a childish competition between the men in front of their younger sister. "And my uncle's car." Everyone understood. Taking a closer look, one could basically guess whose car it was based on the style and color. For example, it was a black and sedate car. It should be Songchen's car. For example, the red and flashy style should be third brother Xiangqi's style. As for the hover cars, children's strollers, and cartoon bumper cars in the corner, who else could they be but the overbearing president of the Xiang family, Feng Feng? Of course, Xiangyi also had a few cars of her own. Most of them were given to her by her family. In order to make it easier for her to pick him up, she chose her eldest brother's business car. It was just that it took a while to find the key. Everyone. Oh, the damned envy-inducing annoyance. The girl skillfully reversed the car like flowing water, using her abilities to break the prejudice. She jumped out of the car and opened the door of the passenger seat for Shui. She said seriously, "Boyfriend first." Shui chuckled. Thank you, girlfriend. Everyone. Isn't it just dog food? I don't care. I don't care at all. Our hearts are already numb. The staff also drove a car and followed behind. Li Jianyu urged. Sister Yi, try to hurry up. Don't let the guests wait too long. Xiangyi tilted her head. Hurry up? Okay, got it. Chapter 748. Hearing Xiangyi's answer, Li Jianyu suddenly had a bad feeling. He vaguely heard the girl say to Shui, who was in the front passenger seat, fasten your seatbelt. Shui said, okay, Sister Yi. Not only did he fasten his seatbelt, he even calmly grabbed the armrest. He was very cooperative. Li Jianyu was confused. What? You want to race? Sister Yi is a cute girl who drives bumper cars. That's impossible. What the F***ck? Before anyone could react, the MPV had already sped over like an arrow leaving the bow. Li Jianyu hurriedly yelled. Keep up, keep up. The driver stepped on the accelerator and said confidently, don't worry, I've been driving for many years. I'm more than capable of catching up to a young girl. One word, you're in. Li Jianyu said, 2 words. In the next second, the car suddenly sped up. He dragged out the last syllable of the word, which turned into a continuous scream of agony. After driving for a distance, the driver's expression changed. Well, this young girl has some skills. Very good. This has successfully aroused my desire to win. He drove even faster. Xiangyi, who was in the front seat, saw how fast he was driving and muttered softly, Uncle Wang, are you complaining that I'm driving too slowly? Hence, the girl also sped up. The 2 cars sped along the road as if they were in a race. The viewers of the live stream also witnessed Xiangyi's driving skills and were all shocked. F***ck. Is there anything Sister Yi can't do? Oh my god, drifting around a corner? Isn't this a skill that only exists in movies? Sister Yi, do you have some misunderstanding about faster? You're not just a little faster. You're flying. The originally planned 20-minute journey only took Xiangyi 7 minutes to reach her destination. After a while, the staff's car finally caught up. When Li Jianyu got out of the car, his face was pale and he was about to vomit. The conversation between the girl and the guest drifted into his ears along with the wind. Sorry we came too late. We haven't driven in a long time, so we're a little rusty. Li Jianyu? I'm sorry, I take back what I said before. Sister Yi wasn't racing at all. She was practically racing online. The title of Tutu Mountain Bike God was hers. Everyone's attention was on this episode's guest. There were a total of 2 guests. The one who was smiling and talking to Xiangyi was the singer Zhou Yan. He debuted at a young age, and his first album became popular all over the country. Since then, he had been crowned as a god in the music industry. The other man who was not good with words was the well-known composer Su Rindong. He was wearing a gray woolen sweater and a pair of black-rimmed glasses. His skin was abnormally white like an otaku who stayed at home for a long time. Sister Yi, how are you? I'm your fan. Zhou Yan was 29 years old this year, but he still looked like a teenager. His voice was clear and pleasant. Just listening to him speak was a kind of enjoyment. Su Rindong had interacted with Shui before, so he nodded stiffly as a form of greeting. The staff stayed behind to handle the towing matters, while Zhou Yan and Su Rindong got into Xiangyi's car. Li Jianyu's heart tightened and he whispered to Ruan Qing, I heard that they don't get along. Now that they're in the same car, will they get into a fight? Ruan Qing smiled. Do you think they'll get into a fight with Sister Yi around? Li Jianyu. He was thinking too much. Sister Yi would probably beat them both to tears. Can't you tell that there's a story between the 2 of them? Chapter 749. What the hell? Didn't we just see each other? Honey, how could you tell there's a story? Li Jianyu's face was blank. Ruan Qing raised her eyebrows. What did you call me? Daddy. You're my daddy. A certain director had never had any dignity in front of his wife. Ruan Qing looked at the SUV in front of her that was almost out of sight. As if she had seen through something, her red lips curled up slightly. A woman's intuition. At the manor. When he got out of the car, Zhou Yan's smile was obviously a little hard to maintain, and his legs were wobbly. Sister Yi had asked him to drive faster. He wondered how fast he could drive, so he readily agreed. Now his inner thoughts were, I'm so stupid, really. Walking on a cobblestone path, he almost fell, but a pair of strong hands supported him from the side. Zhou Yan, thank. Before he could finish the word, thank you, he swallowed back the rest of his words. The person supporting him was Su Nundong. Before Zhou Yan could say anything, Su Nundong quickly retracted his hand after confirming that he was steady on his feet, and distanced himself from him. Then he took out the hand sanitizer from his sling bag and carefully rubbed his hands. He then took out an alcohol wipe and carefully wiped each finger clean. Zhou Yan couldn't help but ask, do I have that many germs on me? This rhetorical question reminded Su Nundong of something. He then took out a bottle of disinfectant spray and sprayed it wildly. Zhou Yan. Xiangyi and Shi Sui noticed their movements and looked over. Sorry, I have a bit of obsessive-compulsive disorder and mysophobia. Su Nundong finally spoke, his voice inexplicably magnetic. Oh, I see. Xiangyi recalled his expression in the car just now. So there was a reason. Zhou Yan whispered, you still have so many bad habits. The comments in the live stream were suddenly not so friendly. Zhou Yan is the one who's sick. Does he know how to respect others? Xiangyi is really something. Didn't she do her homework in advance? You can imagine how uneasy Su Rundong is in the car. Please, it was clearly Su Rundong who came to help our Yan Bao first. After helping him, he complained that our Yan Bao was dirty. What's wrong with our Yan Bao complaining? Regarding this, the loyal fans of Two Under One Roof were very calm, blocking keywords, reporting personal attacks, and sending out short essays. With this one-stop service, the world became peaceful. Meanwhile, the host and the guest entered the living room together. Xiangyi deliberately took out a pair of disposable slippers for Su Rundong. Su Rundong gave her a grateful look, but she still sprayed herself with alcohol spray before putting them on. Zhou Yan had the temperament of a teenager. He let Xiangyi take him out for a stroll. Su Honeysuckle was very reluctant to go out. She sat down by the French window. Of course, she wiped the chair with a wet towel. Shi Sui brought some tea over. Su Rundong was tense. Can you please not talk to me? Shi Sui smiled and nodded. She got up and went to the bookshelf to pick out a book. Su Rundong heaved a sigh of relief. On the other side, Xiangyi and Zhou Yan got along with each other in opposite ways. Zhou Yan was a sociable person. Soon he was chatting and laughing with Xiangyi. Xiangyi, watch me float 6 times in a row. Zhou Yan picked up a small flat stone and threw it out. The stone kept jumping on the surface of the water, creating layers of ripples. He put his hands on his waist and said, impressive, right? Do you want to learn? Call me Big Brother and I'll teach you. Xiangyi pondered for a while. Shall I try it first? Chapter 750. Let's try it then. Zhou Yan grinned. You'll know how difficult it is after you try it. I practiced for a long time before I could do 6 consecutive floats. The girl lowered her head and casually picked up a stone. Zhou Yan immediately said, No, you didn't pick a good stone. You have to choose a flat or disc-shaped one. It's okay, I'm just practicing. Sister E, you have to be careful with everything. Zhou Yan had a strong sense of variety. He pulled the stone from Xiangyi's hand and led her to choose carefully. He even commented on the stones one by one. If it's too big, it won't do. If it's too fat, it won't do either. If it's too ugly, it won't do either. The effect of the variety show was immediately apparent. Yan Baoyan is a dog. 3-year-old Yan is so cute when he takes Sister E to look for stones. I'm laughing so hard. Sister E is so difficult. She feels like she's taking care of her children every day. Yu baby, Lon baby, and now there's a giant baby, Yan Bao. Finally, Zhou Yan chose a suitable stone. He even pretended to be serious and gave a scientific explanation. Sister E, do you know why stones bounce when you're playing water? It's actually very simple. The greater the flow rate, the smaller the pressure. Stones are denser than water. When you're playing water, the water will flow quickly in a short period of time. So the water surface will exert pressure on the stone. When the pressure is greater than the gravity of the stone will bounce up. The more this situation is repeated, the more the stone will bounce on the water surface. Xiangyi agreed. Yes, the principle of fluid dynamics. Zhou Yan gave her a thumbs up. Smart. The audience in the live stream was dumbfounded. Isn't it just playing water? Why is it so advanced? Xiangyi weighed the stone in her hand. She had to admit that Zhou Yan had chosen a good one. Felt great to the touch. The girl pinched the stone with her thumb and index finger behind. Seeing her gesture, Zhou Yan exclaimed, "Hey, you're an expert." Xiangyi smiled calmly and slowly bent down. Her posture was elegant and casual. She didn't seem to use much strength. She moved the stone with her index finger, but the stone was thrown out by her with great force. It spun and was thrown out by her. Bang! Bang! After a dozen or so sounds, the rock finally sank into the water with a plop. Zhou Yan? Question mark. The audience? Question mark. Was it an illusion? It must be. However, Xiangyi made a sound as if she was not satisfied with the result. She took out a spare stone and threw it again. The familiar banging sound dominated everyone once more. This time it rang a total of 23 times. Zhou Yan was dumbfounded, recalling what he had just said. "Call me big brother and I'll teach you." He awkwardly dug his toes into the soles of his shoes. He wished he could jump into the pond right then and there. This doesn't make any sense. The girl opened her cherry lips and said in a soft voice, "There was once a professor who, through the weight and speed of a stone, as well as the influence of air and other conditions, summed up a famous equation, the floating in water equation." Zhou Yan was confused. Huh. The audience was in a daze. Sister E is bluffing, right? Am I right? Xiangyi continued. This equation is mxa equals pmg plus air effect. M represents mass, A represents vertical acceleration, P represents the feedback pressure of the water surface, and mg represents gravity. Through this equation, it played an important role in the study of the problem of aircraft freezing. It has also been applied in the field of criminal investigation to calculate blood splatter. Zhou Yan. The audience. Sorry to disturb, I'm really disturbing. Is this science? Sorry, I'm not worthy of playing water. Chapter 751. Zhou Yan was speechless. This is what it means to be pretentious and get struck by lightning. This is it. Zhou Yan, who had been calling her big brother just a moment ago, immediately changed his tone. "Brother E, please accept my bow." Zhou Yan had a strong sense of variety. He immediately cupped his hands towards Xiangyi and exclaimed, "From today onwards, you're my big brother." Xiangyi said, "You don't have to be so polite." No, Brother E, please teach me how to hit the water. Men know when to yield and when not." Xiangyi said, "Actually, there's a little trick. When you throw the stone, try to keep your arm and body at 45 degrees, and the stone at 20 degrees from the horizontal." In the live stream. Why am I taking notes seriously when I'm relaxing while watching a variety show? Damn it. I went to Google and found out that Xiangyi's equation for hitting the water is actually true. The world record for hitting the water is 88 jumps? What kind of godly person is this? There's actually a competition for hitting the water. If you can hit the water more than 20 times, you're almost at the level of a professional player. Doesn't that mean that Sister E is a big shot at hitting the water? Everyone was speechless. Sister E is so terrifying. Zhou Yan was completely convinced by Xiangyi. On the way back, he kept calling her Brother E, and wished that he could become sworn brothers with her on the spot. The two picked some seasonal fruits and returned. Zhou Yan volunteered to wash them and soon brought them out. Seeing Su Rendong, who was so weak that he looked like he could be blown away by a gust of wind, he couldn't help but walk towards Su Rendong even though his rationality told him to stay away from him. "Here, these are freshly washed fruits. Try them." Considering Su Rendong's obsession with cleanliness, he added, "I washed them twice." Su Rendong's eyes were full of shock. Only twice. That doubt came from the bottom of his heart. The corners of Zhou Yan's mouth twitched. What else? Su Rendong opened his mouth, wanting to say something but hesitated. He picked up a peach and gently rubbed it with his fingertips. In the end, he couldn't bring himself to eat it. He asked hesitantly, "Did you use fruit and vegetable detergent? Or did they use baking soda instead of starch? Did you soak it in salt water again?" Zhou Yan. He stared at Su Rendong expressionlessly for a few seconds, then snatched the peach back and took a bite. The peach was juicy and sweet. He squinted his eyes in enjoyment and said vaguely, "Don't make things difficult for yourself. I'll eat it for you." Su Rendong looked even more shocked. "You didn't wash the things I touched before eating them?" Zhou Yan shut himself off. In the eyes of outsiders, the interaction between the two of them clearly confirmed the rumors of discord. Xiangyi washed the fruit again and took out a pair of disposable gloves. Su Rendong reluctantly ate some of the fruit with the gloves on. However, the taste of the peaches did amaze him. A certain germaphobe silently took a few more bites. Zhou Yan was a natural little son. He was not depressed for long and returned to normal. "Best actor. I heard that you're going to be the male lead in director Mu Si's movie. What a coincidence. He asked me to sing the promotional song for the movie in China. The composer is Su Rendong." Shi Sui said politely, "Oh, that must be fate." Li Jinyu crossed his legs behind the camera and teased, "This is a one-stop service. From the actors to the promotion, everything is done." At this moment, a staff member hurriedly handed him his phone. On the screen there was a trending topic. Hashtag Su Rendong plagiarized. Hashtag Chapter 752. Li Jinyu was confused. What the hell is this trending topic? After browsing through it, Li Jinyu's temples began to throb violently. There weren't many likes and comments on this trending topic, but it was ranked very high. At first glance, it was obvious that someone had paid for it. The accusation was directed at Su Xindong, accusing him of plagiarism. The plagiarist was his younger brother, Su Xini. Su Xini's name entered the eyes of netizens for the first time. Someone dug up his information. He was a graduate of a top music school and was a standard academic. In contrast, Su Xindong was just an ordinary music major from a second-tier normal school. In the first half of their lives, one was an elite while the other was a commoner. To put it bluntly, he was a good-for-nothing. There weren't many comments, but they were all on Su Xini's side. To be honest, it's ridiculous that Su Xindong, who graduated from a second-tier school, could create so many classic songs. Su Xini studied at the top 3 music schools in the world. He can't get in without some skills. It's enough to prove his excellence. Does Su Xindong really not know how to blush? He even plagiarized his own brother's work. Oh my, I just learned something new. They aren't biological brothers. Su Xindong's mother is suspected to be a homewrecker who took over his position. The Su family was considered a small wealthy family, and when it came to the love and hatred between wealthy families, it had always been the most eye-catching. The news of Su Xindong's plagiarism spread like wildfire. The fake trending topic brought in real traffic. After reading it, many people went straight to the live stream of Two Under One Roof to question Su Xindong. The bullet screen comments flooded the screen, but Su Xindong was still oblivious to it. He quietly wore his headphones and tapped a few beats from time to time. The thing that pushed the matter to the climax was Su Xini's updated Weibo. Su Xini. Sorry, I didn't mean to take up public resources. Thank you to all my friends who care about me. I'm in a mess now. I've been tolerating it all these years. I thought I could endure it for the rest of my life. After all, we're a family, but forget it, let's not talk about it. I hope it didn't affect everyone's mood. I wish you all the best. He put his palms together. His decent speech attracted countless likes. Commenters. Look, this was what it meant to be the successor of a wealthy family, showing off his elegance. When they saw Su Honeymoon's social phobia and otaku appearance on the screen, all kinds of trolls came online. My heart aches for Su Xini. I feel like this little brother is a very gentle person. Dragons give birth to dragons and phoenixes give birth to phoenixes. Sure enough, the child of a mistress likes to snatch other people's things. Are you planning to keep such a notorious artist around for the new year? Hurry up and ask him to leave. I don't want to see him for even a second. Everyone was agitated, and Li Jinyu was also a little anxious, not knowing how to deal with it. Yet, Zhou Yan and Xiangyi were still talking about the topic of composition. Zhou Yan said, "Sai, actually I've written songs before, but my agent said that each note of Su Rendong's songs is worth thousands of dollars. No one would want my songs even if I offered them money." Xiangyi chuckled. Are you exaggerating? You don't believe me? I'll hum it for you. Zhou Yan cleared his throat and hummed a melody. His voice was clear and melodious, skillful and full of emotions. But It didn't make the melody any less unpleasant. Xiangyi's expression went from being calm to frowning. The viewers in the live stream teased, "Sister E, are you wearing a mask of pain? Ha 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 ha." Chapter 753. The song came to an end. Zhou Yan felt good about himself and asked everyone expectantly, "How was it? Don't you think I have some talent in composing?" "I'll drink some water to calm down first." Xiangyi sipped some water for a while. "Other people need money to compose, but yours, is it life-threatening?" Shui said, "I heard that you wanted to debut as a singer-songwriter back then? Congratulations, you didn't go astray." "It's not that bad." Zhou Yan looked at Su Nindong, the only one in the living room who hadn't spoken. "Come on, great composer, you judge for me." Su Nindong hesitated for 2 seconds before saying softly, "It's all right." Everyone was speechless. Does Su Nindong have no sense of hearing or aesthetics? You're just going to lick it if it's toxic, right? I'm now very suspicious of Su Nindong's professional standards. Plagiarism is a fact. He must have plagiarized Su Sini's song. Poor Su Sini, not only did he lose his father, but he also lost his own painstaking efforts. Zhou Yan, on the other hand, was like a kindergartner who had been praised by a little red flower. "Su Nindong, I knew you knew me." He proudly raised his chin at Xiangyi and Shui, as if he was showing off. Su Nindong adjusted his black-rimmed glasses and looked at the grand piano in the living room. "Can I borrow the piano?" Xiangyi said. "Sure. Do you want me to disinfect it first?" "No need." Su Nindong lowered his head shyly. "I'll do it myself." Xiangyi immediately understood. The man carefully cleaned the piano. Even the pedals and the strings were not spared. He stretched out his hands, his fingers long and slender, like a work of art carefully carved by God. He casually and lazily played a melody, which was exactly the same as the one Zhou Yan was humming just now. Zhou Yan's face changed drastically and the corners of his mouth twitched incessantly with a pained expression. My song, is it that bad?" Shui and Xiangyi didn't cover their ears, which was already the greatest respect they could give him. Su Nindong, who was sitting in front of the piano, seemed to have become a different person, confident and dazzling. When doing what he was good at, he could overcome his social phobia to a certain extent. "There is still hope," he said. Su Rendong pondered for more than 10 seconds before playing one note after another. Generally speaking, it was the same melody as before. But miraculously, the song had unexpectedly become pleasant to listen to. Only a few minor changes were made, as well as the addition of a few chords. Yet it was as though Atibi, the muse in charge of music, had kissed his fingertips, granting him an unbelievable miracle. Zhou Yan listened attentively and deliberately turned his body, so that his right ear could be closer to the sound of the piano. Xiangyi was also interested. She took out a guitar and plucked the strings with her soft white fingertips. Based on Su Nindong's modifications, she made another version. "Isn't this better?" Su Rendong. His eyes shone brightly. That was the look of someone who had found a confidant. Very good. Very good. Under Xiangyi's stimulation, his inspiration began to explode. "If it's the chords, I can make some adjustments like this. Try speeding it up by half a beat. I think this song is suitable for a relaxed and lively style." The two of them looked at each other and said one after another, "You had a piano version and I had a guitar version." Within half an hour, they had changed Zhou Yan's original version, which was wailing like a ghost and howling like a wolf and saw like a saw, into an incomparably pleasant version. "Zhou Yan, the sky has cleared up. The rain has stopped. I feel like I can do it again." Chapter 754. He muttered to himself, "I, Zhou Yan, am a genius composer." Shui. The audience. "Kiss, do you have some misunderstanding about yourself?" "Ha ha ha, Yan Bao, the current version is not exactly the same as yours, but at least it's completely unrelated. What's a million tuners?" Sister E and Su Rendong are simply millions of tuners. After Xiangyi and Su Rendong finished editing the song, Zhou Yan recorded the entire process with his cell phone and said happily, "I want to use this as my ringtone. Brother E, you're amazing." Xiangyi smiled and didn't steal the credit. "Su Rendong is amazing. I modified the song based on his and he modified it based on yours. Zhou Yan was speechless. It was a little heart-wrenching. Su Rendong, who had always been socially phobic, pursed his lips and carefully said, "Zhou Yan, can you send me a copy?" Although he knew that the staff would have a recording after thinking about it, he felt that Zhou Yan was the only one he could ask. Zhou Yan said casually, "No problem." However, when he was about to send it, he realized that he had already blacklisted Su Rendong. Pretending as if nothing had happened, Zhou Yan released him from the blacklist and sent the audio over. Su Rendong's fingertips paused on his profile picture for a moment before saving the audio. After editing it briefly on his cell phone, he asked for Zhou Yan's permission. "Can I post it on Weibo?" "It's a small matter, up to you," Zhou Yan said with a smile. Soon after, Su Rendong's fans received a push notification. Su Rendong V. It was a period and an audio clip. The name of the audio clip was Composer. Zhou Yan Xiangyi Su Rendong. The fans had long been used to his way of posting on Weibo, and they all clicked to forward it. Su Rendong had turned off the comment function, so the fans could only express their feelings in this way. "Ah, you're finally here. I'm clocking in. Su Rendong is always a god. Damn, this is so good. I'm in a good mood after listening to it. I've added the single on loop." Meanwhile, Su Xini, Su Xindong's younger brother, saw the post. He was overseas, so he didn't watch the live broadcast, nor did he care to watch it. Anyway, in his opinion, the higher Su Rendong climbed, the better it would be for him to step on him. As for Zhou Yan and Xiangyi, he was not familiar with them and thought that they were just friends of Su Rendong. The corners of Su Xini's mouth curled up. He thought that he had thought of a good plan. With the experience of working together, Su Rendong was able to relax a little. Gradually, he was able to chat with Xiangyi. Xiangyi found that his knowledge of music theory was quite rich. Whether it was classical music or pop music, his basic skills were very solid. He also had his own unique views on traditional folk music and opera. "I think combining rap and opera will be a new trend." Music was Su Rendong's passion, and his eyes were always shining when he talked about it. "Zhou Yan, I know how to rap." He improvised a freestyle. Xiangyi also tried humming a scene. Su Rendong's eyes shone even brighter. His brain, which was originally dried up, was now like a dry well that was suddenly filled with water. Inspiration. Boundless inspiration was gushing forth with all its might. He took out a notebook from his satchel and quickly recorded the score. At the same time, Su Xini updated his status. Su Xini V. It turns out that taking a step back doesn't give you peace of mind, but rather you've been forced to the end of the cliff. Rendong, this song is clearly mine. Why did he sign your name and his friends? Chapter 755. After posting on Weibo, he admired the content for a while and felt that his Weibo post was really of a high standard. It was both pitiful and retreating in order to advance. He even hinted that it wasn't the first time that he had been robbed. This time he had to make a beautiful comeback. However, a few minutes later, Su Xini refreshed the app and saw the following comments. "What the hell? Say that again. A thief calling others a thief? That's too funny. Ha ha ha. He's just a rotten melon. Everyone, let's disperse. This Su Xini doesn't seem very smart. What a beautiful handsome white lotus. He's quite good looking, why can't he be mute?" Su Xini was speechless. Are these netizens out of their minds? Why aren't they speaking up for me? They're even turning around and scolding me. Su Xini was furious and was about to act pitiful to the netizens when he received a video call from his mother. He answered the call. "Are you a fool? Didn't I tell you that you just had to endure for a few more years and everything in the Su family would be yours? Yet you're so eager for instant success. You want to scheme against Su Rendong? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Now, you've outsmarted yourself and even implicated me. I might as well have given birth to a piece of barbecued pork instead of you." When Su Rendong found out about the composition of the song, he felt as if he had been struck by lightning and hurriedly deleted the Weibo post. Unfortunately, it was too late. This Weibo post had already been screenshotted by countless people and became evidence of countless erasure. In the living room, Li Jinyu was dumbfounded when he saw this Weibo post. What's going on? When did this song become Su Xini's? Ruanqing also saw it. She clicked her tongue and said, "That's not how you do it. Li Jinyu hadn't reacted yet. Wasn't this song composed by Zhou Yan? Sister Yi and Su Rundong composed it for the second time. Oh. Ruanqing looked at him quietly for a while and stroked Li Jianyu's head with a sympathetic gaze. You must have used up all your luck to meet Sister Yi and Sure Sui. Li Jianyu was even more confused, but he felt that what Ruanqing said was very reasonable. He laughed foolishly and said, No way. Half of it was because I met the two of them and half of it was because I met you. Ruanqing. She sighed and shook her head helplessly. Forget it, forget it. He's my boyfriend. I'll just treat him as a fool's fortune. Zhou Yan and Su Rundong were both northerners. Xiangyi asked them what they liked and decided to make dumplings for dinner. Making dumplings was a very troublesome job for an ordinary family. From filling to wrapping it took a long time. But to Xiangyi it was a piece of cake. The girl directly used her twin knives to chop the meat and vegetables. Her speed was so fast that it almost left afterimages. After mixing 3 different fillings, they brought them to the coffee table in the living room. Everyone wrapped them up together. Even Li Jianyu and Ruanqing came over to help. There were all kinds of shapes and sizes, from simple triangles and ingots to more complicated crescents, willow leaves, and goldfish. Although other than Xiangyi, everyone else's bags were horrible to look at. But when it came to making dumplings, the most important thing was to participate. Zhou Yan was really bad at making dumplings. He failed to make a few dumplings. He clamored for a beginner's guide and took out his phone to search for videos. However, he saw the trending topic about Su Rundong plagiarizing. He was furious. Su Rundong, your pretentious brother is causing trouble again. Su Rundong frowned. Every time he made a dumpling, he wished he could wipe his hands with a wet towel. When he heard this, he asked blankly, I have a brother. Who is he? Chapter 756. Zhou Yan was about to vomit blood. Your stepmother's son. She's disgusting every day. Stepmother? Zhou Yan was stunned. Su Rundong's confusion didn't seem to be an act. He really didn't know about the existence of Su Xini and his mother. I don't contact my family often. Su Rundong said embarrassedly. I have 2 accounts and I don't log into my family's account all year round. He wiped his hands and switched to his WeChat account, only to see a message from Father Su 2 years ago. Are you there? I'm going home, I have something to tell you. Su Rundong thought for a long time and replied with the word yes. Zhou Yan inadvertently glanced at his screen and couldn't help but twitch the corners of his mouth. Xiangyi made the dumplings quickly and beautifully. She asked curiously, What happened? Zhou Yan immediately flew into a rage. His brother just posted on Weibo and said that Su Rundong plagiarized him. He even said that Su Rundong's mother is a mistress. T. Su Rundong said in a low voice, Let them say whatever they want. A straight foot is not afraid of a crooked shoe. Zhou Yan gritted his teeth. Why are you still like before? Forget it, do whatever you want. I don't care anymore. At this moment, a marketing account released evidence of Su Rundong plagiarizing Su Xini, but Su Xini didn't say anything this time. The evidence was simple and to the point. It was a few manuscripts and a link to a niche foreign music website. The manuscripts were the music scores of several of Su Rundong's popular songs over the years. The link was a list of the songs that Su Xini had uploaded over the years. Perhaps because the website was unpopular, the most played song only had a few dozen clicks. However, time didn't lie. That was because every song was released earlier than Su Rundong's release. The netizens immediately cursed in unison. This is real. Su Rundong's acting skills are quite good. His brother is a white lotus, but he's even more impressive. Although the Su brothers aren't good people, I feel that Su Rundong is more disgusting. What's the difference between plagiarizing someone else's music and stealing someone else's child? Zhou Yan, who said that he didn't care anymore, stopped learning how to make dumplings and started to gossip. When he saw the so-called evidence of plagiarism, he sneered. It seemed that Su Xini's stepmother had taken action. His methods were indeed much more brilliant. Hey Su Rundong, where's your previous manuscript? Zhou Yan asked. Su Rundong answered honestly, I threw them all away. Maybe I accidentally threw them away. Zhou Yan. Infuriating. Infuriating. This person is an idiot. If it was lost once or twice, it could be a coincidence. But if it was lost both times, it was obviously very suspicious. It was probably stolen by someone, using some kind of method. However, the marketing accounts claimed that Su Rendong stole Su Xianyi's manuscripts. That was why there were those amazing songs. Just as he was fuming, Xiangyi's calm and gentle voice entered his ears. I have a way to prove my innocence. Li Jianyu. Wow, what's Sister Yi's plan? Ruanqing elbowed him and gave Xiangyi a look. If Su Rendong really did plagiarize, then Xiangyi would definitely be implicated, and she would not be able to clear her name. Xiangyi blinked, indicating that she didn't have to worry. She then slowly placed a dumpling on the steamer. We've now fallen into a misconception that the order of time is the most important thing. However, the most important thing should be the quality of the work. Or rather, the ability to create works. Chapter 757. Shui immediately understood what Xiangyi meant, and nodded in agreement. What the girl wanted seemed to be a competition between the two of them, but in fact it was Su Xinyi's attitude. If Su Xinyi agreed, it meant that there were two possibilities. First, Su Xinyi was really capable, and the situation might become more complicated. Second, Su Xinyi might not be capable, but he could tamper with the music, so Su Xinyi just had to be on guard. If Su Xinyi didn't agree, it would be even simpler. He would feel guilty. In short, if Su Xindong was innocent, it wouldn't be a loss. Zhou Yan froze for a moment and also reacted. Yes. If you're capable, use your skills to speak. Li Jianyu was still dumbfounded. Sister Yi, do you mean? It's very simple. The two of them will compose a new song and release it at the same time. We can set a time limit such as a month and see how good the two of them are. The live stream viewers were speechless. That's a good idea, but how can we prevent plagiarism? How much money did Xiangyi receive? She gets scolded every day, and now she's trying to clear someone else's name. Haha, what if Su Xindong's song is exactly the same as Su Xinyi's? After all, it's not the first time he's plagiarized. Shui seemed to have guessed everyone's worries as she said lazily, everyone's work will have their own mark. For example, painters will have their own habits of mixing colors and coloring techniques. There are similarities between different arts, and I think it's the same for music. The style can be similar, but the soul can't be imitated. Xiangyi? That's right. Some busybodies went to Su Xinyi's Weibo account and told him about Xiangyi's suggestion. Su Xinyi saw it, but he felt extremely guilty. How could he dare to agree? The reason why Su Xindong only got into a second-tier university was that there was an accident during the college entrance examination, and he missed out on 2 subjects. His prestigious school was donated by Father Su, and according to his standards, he wouldn't have been able to get into it. Not to mention his composing ability. Even the 4 oceans couldn't compare to him. If he were to compete, he would definitely be exposed. Hence, Su Xinyi immediately posted on Weibo. Su Xinyi v. My brother has a lot of friends, but I have nothing. I will always be alone. I understand. In this world, loneliness is the norm. No one will always be there to protect you. I won't fight for it. I'll give it to you. Is that okay? With the history of instant face slapping, there were obviously fewer netizens on his side this time, but there were still people who supported him. Why should Xiangyi compete just because she says so? Who does she think she is? She's speaking up for the son of a mistress. Does she want to be a mistress too? However, Su Xinyi's mother called again and scolded him. As the champion of the battle of the rich and powerful families, how could she not have guessed that Xiangyi's intention was not to compete, but to test her? Idiot! How did I give birth to such an idiot like you? If you reject him now, wouldn't that mean that you're guilty? This is exactly what they want. Su Xinyi asked in confusion. Then I promise her? But Mom, I don't know how to compose. Mrs. Su smiled confidently. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to compose, as long as Su Xindong knows how to. Mom will think of a way to get the manuscript for you. I'll find someone to help you edit it even better. Su Xinyi immediately felt that he had won. Mom, it's so good to have you around. He thickened his skin and posted another message. Su Xinyi v. Some things can be given up, but some things can't, such as my father and honor. Set a time and I'll accept the challenge. Chapter 758. The netizens were having a great time watching the drama unfold. An heir against an illegitimate son. There's going to be a good show. Many netizens were not afraid of blowing things up, and even came up with ideas for the battle between the two. Hurry up, set a time, we'll live stream it. That's right, let's see who's the real plagiarist then. What's the point of arguing online like this? It's better to have an offline battle. No da fight lie dog head. Usini was full of confidence and felt that victory was within his grasp. Surendong, you've enjoyed enough applause and glory over the years. How can a shut-in be worthy of being the heir of the Su family? It's time to give it to me. Susini believed that since his mother could get the previous song, she would definitely be able to help him get the song this time too. Now he just had to wait for Su Shindong to set the time. Susini wasn't the only one who thought so. The viewers of the livestream also thought so. After all, composing was an artistic creation that required a process and couldn't be accomplished overnight. In the next second, Su Shindong, who had learned the ins and outs of the matter through Zhou Yan's phone, said in a low voice, "Let's begin then." Everyone was dumbfounded. Huh? Begin what? Xiangyi asked thoughtfully. Do you want to compose now? Su Shindong expressed assent and sat down in front of the piano. He turned to look at Xiangyi and said, Miss Xiang, can I trouble you to set a theme for me? Just a word or two will do. Xiangyi thought for a while and said, how about love? Su Shindong's style in the past was lyrical, and the theme of love was very suitable for him. Okay. Su Shindong closed his eyes and began to compose. The viewers of the livestream were all confused. What? What's going on? Composing on the spot? How is that possible? Where does Su Shindong get his confidence from? How can he compose on a whim? I'm dying of laughter. I'm waiting for Su Shindong to fail. My melon seeds and chestnuts are ready. Most of the comments section was filled with ridicule. There were also some loyal fans of Su Shindong who were trying their best to defend him. Unfortunately, the results were minimal. However, when Su Randong opened his eyes and placed his fingers on the piano, the room suddenly fell into silence. Even the comments in the live broadcast room seemed to have been cleared. The soothing and melodious prelude started the melody of a love song. From the careful probing, to the passion when the love was strong, and then to the loneliness after the sad breakup. Whether it was the melody or the artistic conception, it was impeccable. After listening to a short section, Xiangyi was certain that the song was indeed composed by Su Shindong. He had long since formed a unique style. Others could only imitate his appearance but not his soul. The audience gradually came back to their senses. This song is kind of nice. Was it really Su Rendong's original work? He's too talented. I can't believe it. I actually cried when I heard it. Is there anyone who can fill in the words? If this song doesn't become popular, the heavens will not tolerate it. His slender fingers slid across the black and white keys, ending the song perfectly. Xiangyi and the others applauded. Zhou Yan clapped the most forcefully and his hands were almost red from clapping. Good, very good. Su Shindong, praise to you. Su Shindong is the eternal god. Su Shindong smiled shyly but his eyes were bright. Miss Xiang, it's time for the second question. Xiangyi was stunned. Huh. Chapter 759. Isn't it supposed to be a competition? Su Rendong asked in confusion. How are we going to determine the winner? Rock, paper, scissors, and the winner has to win 2 out of 3 games. Hearing this, Xiangyi burst into a gentle smile, and shallow dimples appeared on her cheeks. As for the second question, how about missing? Su Rendong agreed. Sure. Zhou Yan's eyes widened. Are you out of your mind? That song just now is enough to prove your ability. Why are you still? Shi Sui patted him on the shoulder and asked, do you trust him? Of course I do, he's Su Rendong. The young best actor smirked and said, then let's trust his choice and see what surprises he will bring us. This chicken soup for the soul was unexpectedly effective on Zhou Yan. He pursed his lips, and his tense body gradually relaxed. No one knew better than him how talented Su Rendong was. Yeah, I just have to trust him. How can the light of a firefly compete with the brilliance of the moon? Su Rendong was like a heartless composing machine. He repeatedly closed his eyes and composed the second song, Longing, with a high standard and a high degree of completion. He didn't need to modify his composition at all. He could go to the recording studio and record the demo himself. The audience in the live stream was dumbfounded. Su Sini, who received the news, was even more dumbfounded. Why is Su Rundong so unpredictable? Come on, this is composing. Do you think you're eating buns? Apart from being surprised, he was also flustered. If Su Rundong is composing on the spot, what should I do? In the past, his mother would arrange for a part-time worker to steal Su Rundong's manuscripts, and he would publish them directly or find someone to modify them slightly. However, this time he couldn't steal Su Rundong's manuscripts. What could he use to compete with Su Rundong? Boundless fear instantly drowned him. At the same time, Su Rundong took a short break and said, "The third question." Xiangyi pondered for a moment and said, "For the sake of fairness, why don't we change the topic?" Su Rundong seemed to be in a dilemma. Some of the audience noticed his expression and began to speculate. Is Xiangyi a fake? Is she cooperating with Su Rundong's performance? Could these questions have been set long ago? What's the difference between this and cheating on exams and taking notes? If that's the case, it's unfair to Su Sini. Isn't this clearly bullying? The son of a mistress is still so arrogant. I'm so angry. I'm sorry, Xiangyi said apologetically. I forgot that you don't want to interact with other people. Su Rundong shook his head. It doesn't matter. I can try harder. However, as someone with social phobia, other than Zhou Yan Shui and Xiangyi whom he was familiar with, he could not even look at the other staff members. Li Jianyu had a flash of inspiration. Why don't we draw the questions in the live stream? So that everyone won't say that you're cheating. Also, you can just use your phone to draw. You don't have to communicate with others. Su Rundong agreed. She had a better impression of the entire cast of Two Under One Roof. In the past, whenever he was forced to participate in activities, the staff would advise him, "Teacher Su, you have to pull yourself together and face everything. How can you have social anxiety? It's just that your ability to communicate with people has deteriorated after staying at home for too long. Can't you just talk to people more?" However, everyone in Two Under One Roof would think from his point of view. It was really heartwarming. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to draw, Su Rundong said softly. Chapter 760. It was rare for the live stream of Two Under One Roof to have an interactive function. Many people said that they hated Su Xuandong, but they couldn't help but click on the question. Su Xuandong's beautiful and fair fingertips tapped on the screen and the question was fixed on one sentence. Eating hot pot with friends at home in the winter. Sugar oranges are being roasted on the heater next to you. Ginger cola is boiling in the pot. Everyone was stunned. What? What kind of question is this? The previous two questions that Xiangyi came up with were more abstract and there was more room for free expression. However, this question was too specific. Instead, it made people scratch their heads. How do you express hot pot with music? How do you express roasted oranges with music? Not to mention ginger cola. You're making things difficult for me. Li Jinyu said shamelessly. Ha ha, this time doesn't count. Let's do it again. He couldn't say that to the guests for fear of being scolded. He didn't care. Let them scold him. He was thick-skinned anyway. Although Su Xuandong was an otaku, he wasn't completely ignorant of the ways of the world. Seeing that Li Jinyu was trying to help him out, he cast a grateful look at him and said, "It's okay, let's do this." Huh. Before Li Jinyu could react, Su Xuandong's fingers had already slowly plucked a chord on the piano keys. He closed his eyes and began to play blindly. It wasn't difficult to play blindly, but it was much more difficult to compose a tune while playing blindly. The viewers in the live stream who knew music were instantly shocked. He's too good. I'm so angry that I want to kick my brother who's been learning the piano for 2 years. To be honest, Su Xuandong's basic skills are really impressive. His fingering, strength, and emotions are all textbook examples. Oh my God, can this question be expressed this way? I don't know how to describe it, but I just feel that this song is so heartwarming. The music flowed like clouds and flowing water. Languages had national boundaries, but to a certain extent, music was universal to humans. Everyone enjoyed the song as if they were intoxicated. Unconsciously, they closed their eyes like Su Rundong. Xiangyi leaned on Shui's shoulder and whispered, I really want to play this song in winter. Definitely. Shui hugged her. Zhou Yan, who was next to him, suddenly felt that he was like a light bulb. He cleared his throat and leaned his body to the right out of habit. He listened carefully to Su Rundong's song. He was still as powerful as ever. That night, the live stream of Two Under One Roof went viral again. Well-known composer Su Rundong composed 16 songs on the spot. Their styles included lyrical, pop, hot-blooded, fairy tale, folk, rock, sci-fi. Every song could be said to be the sound of nature. Every song was enough to be passed down as a classic. Countless people had witnessed his creative talent. Countless people gasped in admiration at his amazing talent. I'm kneeling to the big boss Orzi. Improvisation on the spot. This is a level I won't be able to reach even if I study for another 10 years. Wow, every song sounds so good. I think it's enough to release an album. Zhou Yan's singing will definitely be very suitable. Su Rundong stood up with the help of the piano, but his body swayed because he was too tired. Hey. Zhou Yan hurriedly supported him. Thinking of Su Rundong's misophobia, he pursed his lips and was about to let go when he felt a small force tugging at his sleeve. Su Rundong looked at him and said innocently, "My legs are weak." Shui sensed something and glanced sideways, only to see that Xiang Yi's eyes were glowing, as if she had knocked on something. Chapter 761. He coughed softly. The girl immediately came back to her senses and patted her little face, returning to her usual calm and composed self. Little did she know that the fleeting moment had already been captured and recorded by the audience. Sister E is kowtowing to others while I'm kowtowing to Sister E. We're both kowtowing scholars. E is so cute. I want to F***ck her. Aren't Su Rundong and Zhou Yan at odds? Why do the two of them look so compatible? Zhou Yan's heartbeat sped up and his ears inevitably began to heat up. After Su Rundong steadied himself, he said fiercely, "What are you showing off for? Why did you compose so many songs in one go? Aren't you afraid of overworking yourself? I think 996 is a blessing for you. It's the speed of a turtle." Su Rundong retracted his hand and resisted the urge to wipe it with a disinfectant wipe. Overcoming his body's instincts was not an easy task. That alone was enough to make Su Rundong's face turn pale. "Hey, are you okay?" Zhou Yan asked with a frown. "I'm fine." Su Rundong looked at the camera and subconsciously tried to avoid it. After taking a few deep breaths, he calmed down and said, "I'm fine, Su Xen." "Xian what?" Xiang Yi reminded. "Su Sini." Su Rundong first thanked her softly before continuing. "Didn't you say you were going to accept the challenge? You may begin then." Wow, is this a declaration of war? It turns out that otakus have a temper too. The audience in the live stream got excited and began to pay attention to the other party, however. After waiting for a long time, Su Sini did not respond. What? Why is Su Sini pretending to be dead? Su Sini, don't be a coward. You're already done. Could it be that he's guilty? Su Sini is the one who's acting like a thief. On the other hand, Su Sini was so anxious that he was pacing back and forth. What should I do? What should I do? As soon as his phone rang, Su Sini immediately picked it up. Mom, have you thought of a countermeasure? Drag it out if you can. Even if you can't. At the very least, you can't lose to him when the attention is at its peak. Mom, that otaku Su Sini is just trying to ruin me. He even pretended not to know me. Does he even put me in his eyes? His mother was silent for more than 10 seconds before she gritted her teeth and said, Your IQ is really hopeless. Su Sini was not convinced. It's obviously Su Shindong who is scheming. Alright, do as I say. I'll think of a way to get a few songs for you. When the time comes, you can memorize the score and open a live broadcast. Those idiots on the internet will definitely believe it. After exhorting him for a while, the call ended. Su Sini didn't notice that his phone was recording calls. He wrote a procrastination Weibo post. After looking at it, he felt that it would only be embarrassing if he posted it. Who knows how the netizens will laugh at him? It would be better to play the blame game and turn black and white upside down. Su Sini's eyes lit up. He deleted the previous text and began his Lotus Words and Lotus Words composition. Just as the netizens were about to disperse, Su Sini finally posted another post. Su Sini v. What's yours will always be yours. What's not yours will never be yours. No matter how much they slander me, I'm still me. My father is still my father. The song is still my song. Brother, when will you understand this truth? Will that day come? Or maybe it will never come. He opened the audio file and wanted to add a so-called original song, but he accidentally selected the call record with his mother. Chapter 762. The Weibo post was posted just like that. Su Xinyi didn't realize that something was wrong. He threw away his phone and hummed a song before opening a bottle of red wine. He poured the wine into the decanter, feeling good and elegant. Well, let's see what the netizens have commented. Su Xinyi took out his phone, only to find that there were dozens of missed calls. His mother had called him the most, as well as a few close friends. Even his father, who he rarely contacted, had called him twice. Su Xinyi's eyebrows twitched violently as he instantly panicked. His mother's call popped up on the screen again. Su Xinyi's hand trembled as he pressed the answer button. Delete your Weibo post. Hurry up and delete your Weibo post. The woman on the other end of the phone was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She had worked hard to compete with number 4 and number 5 for so many years and finally won the championship. In the end, her years of hard work were ruined by her son. Su Xinyi logged onto Weibo, only to find that he had mistakenly selected the wrong audio file. The song that he was going to post was instead a call record with his mother. I'll help you think of a way to get a few songs. When the time comes, you can memorize the score and post it on the live stream. Those idiots on the internet will definitely believe it. Su Xindong's vision turned black as he knocked over the decanter, causing the fine red wine to splash onto the carpet, creating a mess. He trembled as he clicked on the delete option, but it was too late. In the living room, Surfer Zhou Yan not only saw Su Xinyi's Weibo post, but he also quickly downloaded the audio file. He played the audio file in front of everyone in the live stream. Tens of millions of viewers in the live stream of Two Under One Roof all heard the conversation between Su Xinyi and his mother. Is this the legendary I beat myself? Honestly, Su Xindong's mother's IQ is high, but Su Xindong's brain is not good enough. He's dragging her down. Think of a way to get a few songs? Judging from his proficient tone, it's probably not the first time he's done this. So, Su Xindong's so-called original work was probably fake. Su Xindong's 16 songs in a row was a true slap in the face, followed by Su Xinyi's self-destruction on the spot. The netizens wondered what kind of behavior was this? It was obviously the gift was light but the thought was heavy. As a result, Su Rendong was innocent. It was obvious at a glance who was the son of the mistress. Pfft. Ha ha ha. This little brother of yours only cares about the White Lotus attribute. You don't even know how to add some points to your intelligence. You need to add some points to balance it out. Zhou Yan laughed until his stomach hurt. Su Rendong was still at a loss. He rarely contacted Papa Su, and had no idea that he had a younger brother. To him, Su Xinyi was nothing more than a stranger that had appeared today. However, when he saw Zhou Yan smiling so happily, he pursed his thin lips and the curve of his smile rose. Thus Shi Sui found that her little rabbit had started to knock again. The little girl looked calm on the surface, but she excitedly fluttered a few times and whispered in his ear. So this is what it feels like to be a couple. It's so happy. Shi Sui nodded. Yes. Xiangyi smiled. Are you going to kiss them too? I'll knock myself. Shi Sui calmly took out his cell phone and showed Xiangyi his level in the #untimely #CP chat. It was actually max level. Xiangyi was speechless. She had lost. Chapter 763. Xiangyi took out her Weibo account and looked at it, only to see that it was a pitiful level 2. Her manager, Anan, often sent her something that she liked. When she saw it, she clicked on it and signed in. The girl's fighting spirit was inexplicably ignited. Her milky white face tensed up, as if they were two prodigies competing with each other in their school days. I'll level up now. The little girl was as fierce as a tiger, but she was confused when she saw the mission. It's too difficult, too difficult. The scholars are working too hard every day. She felt that these missions were more difficult than transmigrating. Shi Sui naturally put her arm around her shoulders and touched the screen with her slender fingers, as she began to teach her little bunny how to operate the system. Liking, reposting, and commenting is a must every day. It's also very important to counter haters. When you post on Weibo, it's best if the content is original. That way, the weight will be higher. Xiangyi was thirsty for knowledge and nodded repeatedly, wishing she could take notes on the spot with a sticky note software. The viewers in the live stream were confused. Is Shuringdi teaching Sister E how to surf the rankings? Shocking. I'm rooting for the CP, but they're rooting for themselves too. Shuringdi and Sister E are already working so hard. As fans of the untimely couple, what right do we have to not work hard? Sisters, if you don't vote, I won't vote. When will Shur-E succeed? If you don't do it, Shur-E will be beaten down. Under Shur-Sui's guidance, Xiangyi finally completed the mission. She went through the process in her mind and said seriously, "Okay, I got it. We'll continue tomorrow." Shur-Sui responded and skillfully switched to his alternate account to begin the second round. A series of posts on the leaderboard. Xiangyi? The little girl was shocked and her doe eyes widened. One account isn't enough? The sister fans and mommy fans in the live stream were overwhelmed by her cuteness. Our Tutu is the cutest, she won't accept any rebuttals. Ah, Xiangyi is so cute. Hurry up and accept the endorsement deal. Hurry up and release the product. Mommy is going to spend money on you. Haha, Sistery obviously hasn't chased celebrities before. How can one account be enough? But what's wrong with Best Actor Sure? He's a little too skilled. Xiangyi had no idea that her actions had caused such a huge reaction. The fans of the untimely couple seemed to have been injected with adrenaline, as they crazily rushed up the rankings. Due to the fact that the fans of the two were more relaxed, they were usually in the top 5. But today, everyone was serious and rushed up to the third place in minutes. Zhou Yin joined in the fun and used his main account to help the two of them hit the leaderboard. For a moment, his fans did not care about their own superfans and came over to help. In addition, there were also many insiders who personally went down to help the two of them rank. For example, Yen Nai and director Yen, the brothers from C7, the model couple Mama Een, and Papa Sheng in the circle, the idiotic Fujian in the emoji world, and so on. Xiangyi and Shur-Sui's connections in the circle were obvious. Not only were the netizens enthusiastic, but even the staff of Two Under One Roof joined in. At first, everyone had been sneaking around in fear of being scolded by Li Jianyu. Who would have thought? The one at the top was him. Brothers and sisters, let's charge together. Everyone. The director took the lead to slack off. When the person in charge of Weibo saw the daily active traffic today, he couldn't stop smiling. The two of them were already in the S-list when they were alone, but together they were super. No one could stop them. In just half an hour, the untimely couple successfully reached the top of the list. It was terrifying. Chapter 764. Originally, the first place on the Weibo list was a very popular couple. #Morningstarfall hashtag. Han Chun and Luo Churn had worked together on a romance drama, Sweet Biscuit, which had a wonderful plot and a sweet interaction. Recently, they had also participated in a variety show together. Hence, the couple's fans were at their wits' end. Seeing that their number 1 spot on the Weibo list had been snatched away, Morningstarfall's fans were indignant and began to call for a fight. However, the number of fans of the two was completely incomparable to that of Shur-Sui and Xiangyi. Usually, the untimely couple's fans wouldn't fight for it, but today, they were on a completely different level. Han Chen's and Luo Churn's management companies had communicated with each other and felt that it was a good time to expose themselves. Whether the two could make it out of the entertainment circle depended on this move. The two companies secretly hired fake reviewers and even paid some protection fees to the public relations department of Weibo. Not long after, #Morningstarfall hashtag surpassed #untimely couple in the Weibo rankings. Morningstarfall's fans who didn't know the truth thought that it was real data. They immediately felt elated and ran to #untimely couple to show off. Oh, there's nothing we can do about it. Morningstarfall is really popular. My throat is so dry that it's about to smoke. When I saw the untimely couple, I was no longer thirsty because it's so hot, ha ha ha. Celebrities' stats are so fake these days. Shur-Sui and Xiangyi's stats must be fake too. I now feel that the number of online viewers of Two Under One Roof might be exaggerated too. After all, the boss of Xingchen Live is Xiangyi's uncle. Their family after all. Can't they take care of each other more? In the living room, Zhou Yin was confused. Are these two very popular? Why did their stats go up all of a sudden? Xiangyi and Shui didn't have much of a reaction to the rankings. Shui said, "Let nature take its course. It's good enough to be in the top 3. Xiangyi put away her phone and asked, "What do you want to eat for dinner?" Zhou Yin said, "No. Shui's sister E must be number 1. Su Rendong adjusted his glasses. He was introverted and not good with words, but at this moment, he also clenched his fists, indicating that he supported Zhou Yan. As for Li Jianyu and the others, he had already gone crazy. Sister E, I can't give up so easily. He had to continue fighting. Heads can be chopped off, blood can flow, but we can't lose in the rankings. Photographer Old Zhang. Yes, we must win. Old Lu, the lighting engineer, said, I'm going to make this list today. Even Jesus can't stop me. The others were also shouting slogans such as, victory, and fight. They were full of fighting spirit. It was like a scene from a hot-blooded movie. Xiangyi. There's no need for that. The young girl cast a pleading look at Ruan Qing, hoping that she could persuade Li Jianyu. Who would have thought that this bright and successful career woman would also be unable to escape the true fragrance law at this time? Her phone, tablet, and laptop were all used together, all for the sake of ranking. Sister E, don't worry. Today I will definitely get first place for you. Xiangyi. In the live broadcast room, the comments were unusually harmonious. The audience was united against a common enemy. No matter how much they argued, the couple that I'm rooting for must be number 1. I'm rushing. I've already started on the 4th task. Ha ha ha, my mom and aunt asked me in the family group chat what the top topic is. They want to support sister. I'm willing to not drink milk tea, eat fried chicken, or order takeout for a month. I just want our #untimely hashtag to be number 1. This scene was still playing out in many other places. The rankings of #untimely hashtag and #morningstar setting hashtag fluctuated up and down. Chapter 765. More and more people from all ages were participating in the leaderboard challenge. In a certain office building in the CBD, Jane graduated from a prestigious school and had a decent job. She had always been considered someone else's child. After dealing with today's work, she took some time out of her busy schedule to go to the pantry. She was just about to check if there were any popular food stores nearby, so that she could have dinner with her best friend. Her cell phone rang. Jane picked it up and asked in a slightly surprised tone, Mom, why are you calling me? Did something happen at home? An embarrassed and coy voice came from the other end of the line. Daughter, are you busy at the moment? Mom, if you have something to say, just say it. Is Dad's old habit acting up again? No, I just wanted to ask you, do you know what a competition is? Jane was speechless. By the time she hung up, Jane's mouth was already dry. She gulped down half a glass of water, completely lacking the image of a city beauty. She then picked up her cell phone and started complaining on the Melon forum. Help! My mom is even more obsessed with idols than I am. What should I do? I'm waiting online, it's quite urgent. At a certain farmer's market. Today, I'm going to do a live stream of the vegetable market for everyone. As we all know, the southern market is very famous for its services. For example, when you buy chicken feet, you can cut your nails, and when you buy meat, you can buy a potato and you can even peel it. A small-time streamer held a stand in his hand and interacted with his fans as he walked. He took everyone on a grocery shopping experience. The down-to-earth live stream made the audience feel refreshed, and the interactive data was also better than usual. Bananas can be bought piece by piece. Watermelons can be bought piece by piece. Grapefruit can be peeled into pieces. This is my first year working in the north as a southerner. This is the first time I've seen cabbage being carried in a sack. I'm so shocked. The coordinates are north. Last time I asked if I could buy a head of garlic, the boss waved his hand and told me to take it away. He said that he didn't want me to interfere with his business. Hey, why are there so many people surrounding that stall? Streamer, please go over and watch the fun. When the small-time streamer saw this comment, he smiled and said, "For a streamer like me who dotes on her fans, of course I'll satisfy all your conditions." He looked over, feeling a little puzzled for a moment. That stall was not eye-catching, but it was crowded with people at the moment. When he got closer to take a look, he heard the auntie selling vegetables yell at the top of her voice, "Now follow me and sign in at the top right corner." Little streamer? Could this be some kind of illegal activity? For example, illegal fundraising? He was ready to call the police, but when he turned his head, he saw that the uncles and aunties interface was showing #untimely #super topic. Nanny? So they were trying to make a list? The streamer and his fans accepted this reality in a daze. Schools, shopping malls, parks, Weibo, WeChat, forums, China, overseas. The leaderboard event was in full swing. It was as if everyone was participating in the leaderboard event. Meanwhile, Han Chan and Luo Churen's management company were on the verge of tears. Who could tell them why the data was immediately squeezed out after they bought it? They had already raised the price many times. Seeing that they were overtaken once again, the higher-ups of both sides were dumbfounded. There was nothing left, not even a single cent left. Once they stopped buying ghostwriters, the gap between #untimely and #Morningstar instantly widened. Morningstar's fans, who were still arrogant just a moment ago, were all dumbfounded after seeing the data. Are we so lousy? Chapter 766. No, that's impossible. Morningstar early false fans couldn't accept this huge difference. Some of the more extreme ones directly ran to #untimely #supertalk to make a scene. Don't you guys feel embarrassed when you're using data? Hee, it's really different when you have capital backing you. Is untimely entertainment very popular? Sorry, I've never heard of it. Smile, our Morningstar Rising is the hottest. If it were any other fan club, they would have already started scolding each other. Who knew what kind of bloody storm it would have turned into? However, most of the fans of the untimely couple overlapped with Spicy Tutu and Shui sister, so thus the style became like this. Yes, everything you say is right. Our data is fake. Oh, I'm sorry, but our sister E is rich and beautiful. Shui doesn't have much money either. One endorsement is only worth tens of millions. Yep, we're untimely couple from the Arctic Circle. Have some confidence, Morningstar Rising is not only the most popular in the entertainment industry, but also the most popular in the entire universe. Morningstar early falls fans. How should he put it? The other party clearly didn't scold him back, but how infuriating. This kind of perfunctory attitude showed that he didn't treat them as opponents at all. Instead, he coaxed her like she was a primary school student. Morningstar Chu Luo's fans flew into a rage out of humiliation. They all tagged the person in charge of Weibo, denouncing the injustice and demanding an explanation. Otherwise, they would uninstall Weibo. Usually, the person in charge of the government didn't show up much. Today, he was probably enjoying the show, so he asked the technical staff to check it out. In the end, the investigation failed. It's one thing for your Morningstar to be mixed with a little water in the data, but you guys must have mixed with the 4 oceans. To a certain extent, the officials had tacitly agreed to buy fake reviewers. However, there had to be a limit to everything. Otherwise, going too far would be as bad as not going far enough. The internet water army that Han Chan and Luo Churen had hired had seriously affected the user ecology, which was extremely unfavorable for the development of Weibo. The higher-ups held a meeting and decided to make an example out of him. Therefore, not long after, Weibo's official account made a statement. Weibo Technical Department v. After various inquiries, we have found that there are a large number of zombie fans and water army fans in the super topic #Morningstar Falls hashtag. In order to prevent such incidents from happening again, access to #Morningstar Falls hashtag will be suspended for 3 days. We welcome the masses of netizens to supervise our work. If there are similar phenomena, you can directly at us. There were also a few pictures that the technical staff had checked in the background. The wavy lines and column graphs above all directly showed the true data of #Morningstar setting hashtag. Not to mention competing with #untimely hashtag. They couldn't even enter the top 10. Once the evidence was out, no matter how much Morningstar early falls fans shouted, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it. It was useless. On this day, countless netizens witnessed his untimely popularity. The national couple lived up to their name. No one could shake his position as the #1 superstar. Few first place. Li Jianyu slumped on the couch. He was as tired as a salted fish. Ruan Qing, who was beside him, flexed her wrists a few times with a smile in her eyes. The others also had gratified looks on their faces. It was as if their own children had been admitted to a prestigious university. Pride. Zhou Yan was so excited that he pulled Su Rendong to give him a high five. Su Rendong resisted the physical discomfort and raised his fair hand. Yeah, give him a 5. As his movements were too violent, a small silver object fell out of his left ear and landed right in front of Xiangyi. Chapter 767. Xiangyi immediately blocked the camera, picked it up with her hand, and returned it to Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan's expression was a little helpless as he frantically put the item into his pocket. The camera didn't capture it very clearly, but the sharp-eyed audience saw it. Some of them even took screenshots and zoomed in to study it. Hey, this seems to be a hearing aid. Aren't hearing aids for old people? Zhou Yan is so young, does he really need one? It's hard to say. I heard that many singers have hearing impairments. Could Zhou Yan be the same? If he has a hearing problem, it will also affect his singing. There were many different opinions and no conclusion had been reached. Su Rendong also saw it and his expression became solemn. He frowned and stared at Zhou Yan. What is that? Zhou Yan didn't answer and simply stared at his lips in a daze, subconsciously trying to read his lips. Answer me. Su Rendong, who had always been gentle, unexpectedly lost his temper at this moment. Xiangyi spoke up at the right time. I'm going to cook some dumplings. Do you guys want to go back to your room and get some rest? She was giving the two of them a way out. However, Zhou Yan and Su Rendong didn't move. The atmosphere was so oppressive that it was almost suffocating. After more than 10 seconds, Zhou Yan said in a muffled voice, "What does it have to do with you? Haven't we broken up a long time ago?" Su Rendong's hands, which were hanging by the side of his pants, subconsciously clenched into fists. Your affairs are very important to me. Zhou Yan mocked coldly. Doesn't your conscience hurt when you say that? Su Rendong's Adam's apple bobbed, and his eyelashes drooped as he trembled slightly. I'm sorry. The conversation between the two of them really made one's imagination run wild. Xiangyi and Shi Sui looked at each other. One of them had knocked. The other knew that she had knocked. The gossipy souls of the audience were instantly ignited. What kind of rotten melon is that? I'm sick of it. Love melons are the best. This conversation between the two of them is not a relationship between ex-boyfriends. I'm going to eat *T live. Oh my god. This little prank is a trending topic. Every guest that comes has such a story. Zhou Yan and Su Rendong fell into a stalemate. In order to ease the tension, Shi Sui cleared her throat and asked, Do you want dumplings with soup or without soup? Su Rendong regained his senses and looked at Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan's expression was a little blank. He had one hand in his pocket and seemed to be hesitating. Su Rendong's thin lips pursed into a straight line. He reached out his hand and slowly stretched it out. Even though his fingertips were trembling uncontrollably, he still did not back down. The distance between them was getting closer and closer. Swish! There was the sound of fingers rubbing against cloth. Zhou Yan felt that his arm was gently pulled and swayed, as if she was acting coquettishly, but also as if she was pleading. Can I have a look? He had touched him. This realization spread in Zhou Yan's heart. Instinctively, he relaxed his body. Su Rendong seized the opportunity and pulled his arm out. In the man's palm was a small and exquisite hearing aid. At first glance it looked like an earring. Su Rendong only felt that his throat was extremely dry. He fumbled around and helped Zhou Yan put it on. Can you hear my voice now? Zhou Yan looked away and said proudly, You don't think I'm dirty now? Never. Those two words made the countless audience members in front of the screen scream. Xiangyi decisively covered her mouth and buried her head in Shi Sui's arms. The little bunny threw herself into his arms and a certain best actor had no choice but to do so. He kissed the little girl on the forehead. On Wan's words, Oh, there's an exam tomorrow morning. I'm going to do a last-minute prayer. There's still 2 hours to go. Are there any cuties taking the exam? I wish you all the best in the exam. If you really don't know how to answer, then choose C. I'm talking nonsense. Good night. Chapter 768. The dumplings are ready. The kitchen was steaming hot. Xiangyi opened the door, poked her head out, and shouted. Behind her stood Shui, who was holding a plate. The two of them were wearing the same apron, and under the warm lighting in the kitchen, they looked warm and beautiful. Ever since Zhou Yan and Su Rundong decided to have a good talk, the two of them tacitly went to the kitchen to give the two of them some space. Li Jinyu originally wanted to pause the filming of the two of them, but Zhou Yan signaled that it was fine. He then used the live stream of Two Under One Roof to explain his condition to his fans. Because I've been in a high decibel environment for a long time, my left ear has developed a hearing impairment, and my right ear has also deteriorated to a certain extent. However, I will actively cooperate with the doctor's treatment and recover as soon as possible. Even though he could barely hear with one ear, it didn't seem to affect Zhou Yan's mood at all. Hearing Xiangyi's voice, he grinned brightly. I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore, I'm going to eat some dumplings. In the live stream, Zhou Yan's fans were already in tears, but when they heard this, they burst into laughter. God, please be nicer to our Yan Bao. Oh my God. Nothing can stop you, huh? Ha 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 ha. Yan Bao, eat 2 more bowls of rice for me. Let's eat our share too. Su Rundong listened in silence the entire time. After the dumplings were served, he silently mixed a vinegar and chili oil dipping sauce for Zhou Yan. This small detail was caught by the crowd, and they went into another round of. Zhou Yan couldn't stop after eating one as he exclaimed how fragrant it was. Compared to him, Su Rundong was much more reserved. However, from another perspective, he was a clean freak, yet he could still endure the psychological discomfort and eat Xiangyi's food. What kind of spirit is that? The netizens were craving for it, and tears flowed from the corners of their mouths. Li Jinyu suggested. Why don't we do a lucky draw? After all, the live stream would end in 2 weeks, so it was reasonable to give some benefits to the audience. Sure, but what should we draw? Xiangyi asked. Li Jinyu was also in a dilemma. Ruan Qing, who was beside him, smiled and said, Why don't we listen to everyone's thoughts? This suggestion made the live stream room went wild. Sister Ruan is so good, it's so nice. Does an unlucky person have a chance to enter Europe? Wishing for a piece of firewood chopped by Sameogu. I want a little apron made by Hades. Haha, I've long had my eyes on Dr. Xiang's pots of succulents. Is a pillow that Big Brother has leaned on okay? Sob 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 ball ball. Ahem, I'm different from you guys. I've taken a fancy to Feng Fengzi's bumper car. There were all sorts of wishes in the comments section, but the thing that was mentioned the most was without a doubt. Sistery cooked. Shui brought a tablet over and read the comments with Xiangyi. Xiangyi was a little surprised. There are so many comments. It almost blocked the entire screen. Shui smiled. Our sister E is very popular. Zhou Yan and Su Rundong, who were at the side, were speechless. For some reason, they felt that the two of them were the real kings of public display of affection. Using the terminology of Xuanhua novels, a dozong was extremely terrifying. If it's for food, it probably won't work if it's too far away. Xiangyi's words disappointed everyone, but in the next second she said, It should work if it's in Nancheng. Chapter 769. In an instant, the audience in Nancheng felt as if they were on a roller coaster as they went from the lowest point to the highest point. I'm from Nancheng, please pick me. Is it too late to move to Nancheng now? I'm really getting carried away. I'm actually searching for housing prices in Nancheng. Smile. Nancheng has always been criticized on the internet. I used to feel quite inferior, but it's different today. I feel like I can hold my head high proud. Li Jinyu and the others studied it for a moment before opening the lucky draw system. The final prize was very rich. In addition to small aprons, hair rings, and pillows, there were also various local specialties from Little Rabbit Farm, as well as chili seeds, super potato seeds, and so on. Let's draw the dumplings first. They won't taste good when they get cold. Xiangyi took out a few thermos containers and Shui packed them up, filling each container with dumplings with different fillings. The audience in Nancheng rubbed their palms and stared at the screen. When the wheel of the lucky draw appeared, a pair of hands appeared in front of countless screens. Click, Click, click. Hit, hit, hit. The results were soon out. Congratulations to the 5 lucky audience members: Famous, Winter Wintersweet, Freshwater, Matcha Star Frappuccino, and Shooting a Heartbeat Signal to the Universe, for winning Sister Yi's dumplings. We'll arrange for someone to deliver them right away. They'll be delivered in an hour to 2 hours. The staff put the thermos containers back into the incubator and drove off with the side dishes that Xiangyi had prepared for everyone. The audience members who had won the lottery were overjoyed. Damn! I won! I won! I'm crying tears of joy. I didn't expect to win such a big prize in my lifetime. Reporting. Fatty Happy Water has been prepared and Sister Yi's beauty has been edited. I'm going to open the door and eat it later. I'm going to make the neighbor who always orders fried chicken and barbecue die. Those who didn't win the lottery were rolling around in the comments section. The scene was very hilarious. There were even some people who said ruthlessly, "Trash. I'm not going to watch it anymore." However, in the following lucky draw segment, another large group of people won the lottery. Coincidentally, the audience member who had said those ruthless words just now actually won 10 packets of hot pot base. Therefore, the audience member immediately changed his tune. Sister E is a very nice person, and her little tricks are also very exciting. She has enriched my mental life and brought me and my family great joy. Everyone, please join me as we continue to support the first live variety show in the country. Everyone? Where did you learn this face-changing technique? The audience member's face wasn't red and he wasn't out of breath. What made him change his mind? There was no other reason other than the fact that Xiangyi had given him too much base for the hot pot. In the end, Zhou Yan and Su Nendong also came and added gifts such as albums and Walkman. Tonight's lucky draw was a huge success. About an hour later, the first viewer who received Xiangyi's dumplings posted his feedback on Weibo. Matcha Xingbinglu. Wow, I'm saying wow. Sister Yi's dumplings are so delicious. When it was delivered, it was still hot. When he bit into it, the gravy splashed out. The combination of shiitake mushrooms, almond mushrooms, and abalone mushrooms created a fresh and fragrant taste. The shrimp dumplings were even better. There was a big shrimp inside each dumpling, mixed with minced meat. It was so delicious that he wanted to bite his tongue off. In the past, when I watched live broadcasts, I would think that the guests were acting, but today I found out that Sister E is the god of cookery. Fairy girl. In response, the netizens' reactions were surprisingly synchronized. Ha! I don't believe you unless you let me try it. Chapter 770. Several lucky audience members received the dumplings one after another, and 4 of them shared their joy on social media. Only one person was special. He put the dumplings up on a certain second-hand platform and set the price at 500 yuan. The netizens were in disbelief at first. No way, right? Can this be sold? It turned out that it really could be sold. Not only that, but the lucky audience member also did something else. He set up an auction mode. In less than half an hour, hundreds of people had already participated in the auction. The price also soared from the initial 500 yuan to more than 10,000 yuan. The intention of a lucky draw became a means to profit. Many netizens complained that the price of the dumplings was sky high. Everyone thought that the price would be the highest, but when they refreshed the page, the auction price actually rose to 100,000 yuan. What kind of rich and foolish tycoon is this? The audience member who had won the prize obviously didn't expect that a set of dumplings could be sold at such a high price. He didn't care who the tycoon was and quickly completed the transaction. Money would only be safe when it was in the bag. The sky-high price of the dumplings caused a chain reaction. A few audience members were tempted and began to resell the gift online before they received it from Xiangyi. There were also many people who offered to buy it, but the price was far inferior to the dumplings. The audience members muttered to themselves, "The game consoles and bumper cars are clearly worth much more than the dumplings, but why can't they sell for as high a price as the dumplings? Could it be that Xiangyi's food really has some special charm?" In the living room of the manor, after eating and drinking to his heart's content, Su Rundong took the initiative to clean the house. He had to admit that his professional ability and strictness in cleaning were enough to beat all the housekeeping companies in the market. The audience watched with relish, and many people with obsessive-compulsive disorder expressed great satisfaction. Zhou Yan and Xiangyi began to play checkers. Within 5 minutes, he had already retracted his moves several times. It doesn't count, it doesn't count. Let's start again. I didn't see it clearly just now. Please, Brother Yi, give me another chance. If it was someone else, they would probably get angry, but Xiangyi was very calm. She patiently played with him. Shui was reading a book at the side. From time to time, she would feed Xiangyi water and give her a piece of fruit. The little girl's cheeks were always puffed up like a cute little hamster. After cleaning up, Su Rendong picked the cleanest chair and sat down. However, it was a little far from Zhou Yan. He coughed, as if he felt that the chair was uncomfortable, so he moved a little. Just like that, he slowly approached someone. While Zhou Yan was regretting his move, Su Rendong pointed out a position for him. Play here. Zhou Yan did as he was told. Sure enough, he came back from the jaws of death. Awesome, brother. Zhou Yan grinned and raised his chin at Xiangyi. Brother Yi, it's not too late to beg for mercy. Xiangyi raised her eyebrows. Do you think I don't have outside help? At most, you'll ask Shuringdi for help. Xiangyi smiled and turned on the multi-person video chat in her family. One handsome face after another appeared on the screen. Sister, you're here. Tutu, I'm here. Little Tutu, call me brother and I'll let you win 10 consecutive games. Soon even Xiang Yin and Madame Xiang joined in. Little bunny, don't be afraid. Grandpa will win it back for you. Zhou Yan was speechless. He suddenly felt weak, helpless, and pitiful. He shivered. Chapter 771. This scene, which had a sense of variety, had undoubtedly become a classic scene in the history of Little Break. The netizens laughed out loud. Yen Bao, it's time for you to feel Sister Yi's true strength. Zhou Yan, I just found a substitute player. Brother Yi, you're cheating. Sister Yi, you're going overboard. Others are using money to cheat, but you're cheating. Xiang family member, kind eyes, let me see who's bullying our little bunny. With the super strong support group, Xiangyi easily won 2 rounds against Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan's expression was as if he had nothing to live for throughout the entire process. Not intending to continue winning, Xiangyi slowly got up and said, Go ahead and play with Su Rendong. I'm going to video call my family. Although the Xiang family members didn't see each other often, they kept in close contact with each other. Even if they couldn't eat together, the whole family would video call each other at least once a week. Today happened to be the day that the Xiang family had agreed to video call, and Zhou Yan was considered to have hit the nail on the head. Xiangyi went to the floor-to-ceiling window, nestled on the couch, and talked to her family softly. In fact, there was nothing grand about it, and most of them were just trivial family matters. However, the audience felt the intimate connection between Xiang Yi and her family. It turns out that kinship has to be managed too. As many people watched, their giggles turned into contemplation. After everyone talked about the recent situation, Xiang Yin coughed and said, The work in the West Continent has been completed. Now that the country is prosperous and the people are safe, I can go back with peace of mind. He changed the topic and sighed. I don't know if anyone will welcome an old man like me back. Xiang Feng, who was playing a game with Shiryu, said, Father, I'll be the first to welcome you back. Xiang Yin rolled his eyes and said, I didn't ask you. Xiang Feng said, Okay. Shiryu, who was beside him, said in a muffled voice, Grandpa, I want to go home. I miss Sister Xiangyi. According to seniority, he should be addressing Xiangyi as aunt, but Shiryu couldn't change it. Let's play for a while more. Children should have a happy childhood. Shiryu pouted. I'm tired. I'm really tired. I don't want to play anymore. Grandpa Xiangfeng had been playing with him all day. Even if you want to walk a dog, you shouldn't walk it like this. Moreover, he was the one who wanted to play. Why did he have to use him as an excuse? Xiangfeng covered his mouth and said coldly, No, you want to play. At the same time, he instructed his assistant, Go and buy this gaming center. What kind of broken claw machine is this? You can't even catch a single doll after trying for so long. The assistant replied expressionlessly, Yes, Mr. Xiang. How could he be so calm? Was it because he had received professional education? Was it because he had many years of experience as a special assistant? No, it's just a habit. The video in the group was still going on. Xiangyi said softly, Grandpa, I'll wait for you to come back. The young lady's words coaxed the old man, making him feel very comfortable and happy. The silent and cold Sanction put down the file in his hand and said faintly, "Little Rabbit's birthday is coming soon." All of a sudden, the family members were discussing how to celebrate Xiangyi's birthday. Xiangyi raised her hand weakly. "There's still a week left." "Okay." Sanction nodded proudly. A week is indeed a little short. Xiangyi was speechless. Is Xiangfeng's concept of time a little different from mine? Chapter 772. Tutu, don't worry, your brothers will take care of these matters. Xiang Li's voice was gentle as he lowered his head and wrote on the memo with a pen. I'll cancel all the research projects and academic conferences for the next half a month. Xiangyi. Second brother, you don't have to. You really don't have to. That's right, that's right. 1 week is too short, we don't even have enough time to set up the venue, Xiangqi complained. Xiangyi. Third brother, are you planning to build a new building? Since Xiangyi is so popular, it seems we'll have to prepare an invitation. I hope she can spend her birthday with her blessings. Xiangyu sighed. Xiangyi. Fourth brother, are you guys still planning a banquet? Xiangfeng, however, looked confused. Didn't we already prepare for it long ago? We were just waiting to give little Xiangyi a surprise. All of a sudden, several sharp gazes seemed to be directed at him through the screen. Xiangyi. Okay, so it's just my brothers playing me. Can't there be some trust between siblings? Xiangyi turned on the loudspeaker while the mainstream was broadcasting Shui and Su Rundong playing chess. She couldn't hear it very clearly, but the audience in the other stream could. Ha ha ha, look, there's an honest person here. No one will refute me if I say that Xiangfeng has the lowest IQ in the Xiang family, right? Little uncle must be the most naive CEO in history. Ha ha ha. He always makes me laugh. Now that the surprise plan had been exposed, her brothers didn't try to hide it. They directly said that they wanted to discuss specific matters and that Xiangyi couldn't eavesdrop. Then they temporarily removed Xiangyi from the group chat. Xiangyi's mood was a little complicated as she stared at the prompt on the screen, speechless for a long time. The audience. Ha ha ha. She's in a daze. Who would have thought that Sister E would have such a day? Various marketing accounts accurately cut to the chase. Scene of a large group pet falling apart. Xiang family sibling relationship breakdown. Tragic. Sister E has been kicked out of the family. The drafts were out. Xiangyi ended the video call with her family and returned to Shui's side, only to find that he had won several rounds. Su Rundong's chess skills were not bad. Unfortunately, Zhou Yan was holding him back. With his own strength, he defeated the two of them again and again. Zhou Yan said faintly, I'm not playing anymore, I'm not playing anymore. You husband and wife are bullying me. The tip of Xiangyi's ear was slightly hot. She gently pinched it. Smoke was about to come out of the top of her head. But there was no rebuttal. The corners of Shui's lips curled up slightly. Her eyebrows and the corners of her eyes were filled with pride. Sai, does this show of yours like to trick the guests into eating dog food? Zhou Yan sighed and turned on his depression mode. He casually said, I have a story. Do you have wine? Li Jianyu, who was in the director's office, couldn't help but shout through the loudspeaker. No. Zhou Yan. Question mark. Su Rundong. Question mark. In the next second, the two of them witnessed the change in Xiangyi. The young girl's deer-like eyes were astonishingly bright. She was no longer calm and composed. Instead, she became passionate and enthusiastic. Red wine, beer, white wine, sake, fruit wine, rice wine, and medicinal wine. What kind do you want? Half an hour later, Zhou Yan finally crawled out of the manor's wine cellar, panting heavily with 2 jars of fruit wine in his hands. Xiangyi, who was behind him, also had 2 jars in her hands. She asked, Are 4 jars enough? Yes, it's enough. The little drunkard, Xiangyi said in a regretful tone. Okay, if it's not enough, you must tell me. Zhou Yan asked, Brother E, you drank so much. Aren't you afraid that your family will nag at you? Xiangyi said, They usually say, that's all there is to it. Are you rearing fish? Zhou Yan said, Okay, sorry to disturb you. Chapter 773. In the living room. On the coffee table were shredded squid, mustard octopus, crispy peanuts, and a few other side dishes. The electric grill next to it was sizzling meat. It was supper time. Come, come, come. Cheers. Zhou Yan greeted. The 4 cups made a crisp sound when they collided. Xiangyi held the cup and gulped down a glass of wine. Her clear doe eyes were sparkling, and her drunkard's attributes were unmistakably revealed. Zhou Yan was shocked. When he said cheers, it was just a clink. He didn't really drink in one gulp. Sister E, with the way you drink, it would be strange if you didn't get drunk. However, he was the first to get drunk. By the time he drank the second jar of wine, Zhou Yan was already in a daze. The world in front of him was a blur. Everything he saw was blurry. His head was getting dizzier and dizzier. He felt like the whole world was spinning. Uncontrollably, he fell onto a shoulder that wasn't very broad. Like a tired bird returning to its nest or a whale returning to the sea, he felt inexplicably at ease. Su Rendong pushed his glasses up in a panic. Hey! Alcohol bolstered one's courage, which was vividly reflected in Zhou Yan. He roared. Hey, what? You're drunk. I'll send you back to your room to sleep. I'm not drunk. Zhou Yan slapped his thigh. We've already broken up. It's none of your business. Oh, they broke up. Wait, they broke up? Xiangyi's eyes widened. She stopped drinking. The livestream viewers had the same reaction as her. They were stunned on the spot. The 2 people who were rumored to be at odds were actually ex-lovers. Su Rendong clenched his fists. His black-rimmed glasses covered his eyes, making it impossible to see the emotions in his eyes. After a long time, he softly spat out 3 words. I'm sorry. Zhou Yan's eyes reddened. He muttered. Why should I break up just because you say so? Why should I forgive you just because you say sorry? You don't deserve it. Although he spoke firmly, Zhou Yan, who was known as a legendary singer in the circle, rubbed Su Rendong's shoulder childishly. He seemed to be acting spoiled. You even left without saying goodbye. Do you know how sad I was? She's already gone. What's the point of leaving so many songs behind? Who wants to sing the songs you wrote? Let me tell you, it's not like no one wants me. There are many people who like me. Xiangyi asked curiously. Is there some misunderstanding between the 2 of you? Su Rendong smiled bitterly. Not really. It's just that we were too young back then. Perhaps it was because the wine was too intoxicating, or perhaps it was because this night was too suitable for talking. But Su Rendong began to tell the story of him and Zhou Yan. From knowing each other to confirming their relationship, it only took a week. But gradually more and more conflicts arose. The 2 of them were equally arrogant, equally young and frivolous. They had each other in their hearts, but their eyes could not tolerate any sand. Their mouths were always hung with the most hurtful words. At first he was high-spirited, but later on, he gradually drifted away. What crushed the 2 of them was that Su Rendong's psychological problems were becoming more and more serious. He could no longer tolerate the most ordinary hand-holding and hugging. Perhaps we are destined not to be together. Su Rendong's heart ached. He took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. The audience also wanted to cry when they heard this. In the silence, Xiangyi slammed the table. The little girl's drunk voice was soft and soft. You wait. I'll find you the best psychiatrist right now. The couple I'm going to marry must be sweet. Burp. A sudden hiccup caused everything to stop abruptly. Xiangyi's ears turned crimson. She buried herself in Shi Sui's arms. Her slender shoulders trembled with shyness. Chapter 774. Shi Sui's gaze was gentle as she gently patted the girl's back. Untimely candy was spammed crazily in the livestream. Are you okay? The man's deep voice rang in her ear. Yes. Xiangyi's fingertips curled up slightly. She looked up and blinked her beautiful doe eyes. They were like moonlight with a layer of mist, hazy and rippling. It tugged at one's heartstrings. The girl straightened her back. Her swan-like neck was slender and fair, as if the person who burped just now wasn't her at all. She took out her phone and contacted a doctor she knew in Shizhou. Through this network, Xiangyi managed to get in touch with his doctorate instructor, and then she managed to get in touch with a super good psychiatrist. Not long after, the girl hung up the phone and made an okay gesture to Su Rendong. I've made an appointment. You can go to this address when the time comes. Su Rendong's eyebrows twitched when he saw the famous psychology studio. This was the doctor he had failed to make an appointment with for a long time. Xiang Yi actually settled it with just a few words? He felt a little conflicted for a moment. There were thousands of words in his mind, but in the end, he only said one sentence. Sister E, thank you. Xiang Yi drank a few more mouthfuls of wine. Her barely focused rationality gradually dissipated. She smiled at Su Rendong. I want it to be sweet all the time. As she smiled, the girl lost her balance and fell to the side. Sure Sui had already predicted this. She held her firmly and whispered softly, be good. Don't drink anymore, okay? No. Xiang Yi refused decisively. She said fiercely, I want to drink. Zhou Yan blindly shouted, I want to drink too. Then, Su Rendong pressed him back to the table and let him continue sleeping. Sure Sui said helplessly, you'll get drunk if you drink anymore. I won't get drunk. The girl mumbled. Where's my wine? Where's my wine? She rubbed her small hands on the table and picked up the glass to drink. After gulping down half the glass, Xiang Yi's eyes lit up. It's so delicious. This is the real happy water. Sure Sui said with a faint smile. Sister E, you're using my cup and drinking my wine. Xiang Yi's brain went blank for a moment. Huh. In the live stream, the audience was going crazy. Indirect kiss. Kill me. Such a cute Sister E Shuringdi, how can you resist? You. No. Sure. Ha ha, no wonder Director Li was so mad. The drunk Sister E is so different from her usual calm self. She's so soft, I want to bully her. Xiang Yi's slow brain couldn't figure out the logic for a long time. Instead, she finished the wine in the cup. Pour the wine. She ordered Sure Sui drunkenly. Sure Sui slowly poured her a glass of juice. Want it? If you want it, call me Big Brother. Su Rendong. Question mark. Is there such a thing? At this moment, he still didn't know that Sure Sui and the word dog could be equated in a sense. Xiang Yi suddenly hugged his neck and a look of astonishment flashed across his peach blossom-shaped eyes. He heard the girl call out sweetly, Hubby. The living room suddenly fell silent. Sure Sui's eyes were soaked in the night. He fed Xiang Yi juice with one hand and placed the other on the back of the girl's neck, gently rubbing it as if he was petting a cat. Xiang Yi's cherry lips were stained with a moist luster, and she couldn't tell the difference between fruit juice and wine. She tilted her head and asked, Why aren't you saying anything? Sure Sui chuckled. I'm afraid. It's not suitable for children. After all, our Sister E is still a child. Chapter 775. Kid? Not suitable for children? What do these mean? Xiang Yi's expression was serious as she fell into deep thought. On the other hand, Su Rendong's expression had a variety of expressions. From shocked otaku, JPG, to hello everyone, I'm Lemon Essence. JPU. I wish you two a blissful marriage. Give birth to a child soon and never be separated for 3 lifetimes. Okay, send me to the bridal chamber. Give me a quick gif. In the live stream, the untimely couple fans covered their mouths and cried tears of love for the two of them. Say it. Say it. I'm an adult, I can listen. Do you think I lack this amount of traffic? Shuringdi, please. Are you there? Let's discuss it. Can I become a member and watch the whole thing? Unfortunately, Sure Sui had no intention of continuing to tease Xiang Yi. He was completely gentlemanly and pure. I'll get Sister Ruan to send you back to rest, okay? Even his question was gentle and elegant, as if he was bathing in a spring breeze. The screen was filled with the words, Shuringdi can't do it, which dominated the live comments section again. Xiang Yi shook her head and hugged Sure Sui tightly. I want to be with my hubby. A certain Shuringdi gulped. Li Jianyu, who was in the director's office, was already grinning from ear to ear. He was grinning from ear to ear. No one would be able to resist this. Sure enough, Sure Sui pinched the girl's cheeks gently. Shall I send you home? Xiang Yi said in a sweet voice. Okay. Sure Sui and Su Rendong greeted each other before picking Xiang Yi up in a princess carry. There was a trace of envy in Su Rendong's eyes. The tall and slender man carried the delicate and soft bunny into the room. The traffic in the live stream had exploded. The average number of online viewers of Two Under One Roof was more than 10 million. and it could soar to 20 million on weekends and holidays. However, today, it had soared to 30 million. Following the popularity of the show, it could be said that the entire nation was watching the show. It was a true national romance series. He did it, he actually did it. I've locked this door and I've swallowed the key. The two of you are not allowed to come out for 3 days and 3 nights. Ah dog, you're not allowed to lay a hand on our Easy. Xiangyi is still a child, isn't she? In the director's office. At first, Li Jianyu was still grinning from ear to ear, but as he smiled, his mouth shrank and he began to feel sad again. Sob, what's going on? Seeing that their relationship is warming up, I'm gratified. But I also have the worry of an old father. Marrying off his daughter is just like this. Ruan Qing. I couldn't tell that you were a fan of Daddy. The more Li Jianyu thought about it, the sadder he felt. He leaned on her shoulder and sobbed. What are we going to do when we have a daughter in the future? Every time I think about her being taken away by another man, especially a bastard like Shi Sui, I'm so angry. Ruan Qing was speechless. She wanted to push him away, but when she saw him crying so sadly, she retracted her hand. Since Shi Sui's sister Yi is so sweet, I'll let him lean on me for a while. Just this once. There won't be a next time. She was serious. In the room, the moonlight was like water, sprinkling a clear glow on the ground. Whoosh! Shi Sui drew the curtains, his fair fingers well defined. He turned to look at Xiangyi. Xiangyi was lying on the bed and kissing Xiao Naofu, who had just woken up. Xiao Naofu was still in a daze. Meow? Suddenly meeting the murderous gaze of a cat. Ahem, a tiger. The kitten was so frightened that its ears trembled and it buried its head in Xiangyi's soft arms.